What is going on, everybody? It's your man Jay Immanuel, and you guys are now tuned in to another Right to Real Love live show. It's gonna be a good one tonight. As y'all can see, we got a full house. I'm joined by my lovely co-host Tatiana, as well as three very special guests. So before we get into today's icebreaker, I would love for my guests to introduce themselves. So since Natalie and Krista have been here before, so I think we should start with a new guest, a guest that many people are probably familiar with in our chat. My man, the one and only black belt from the Dojo of Manhood. What's going on, bro?
What's going on, man? I'm so glad to be here. Like I said, I am the Dojo of Manhood. I'm the one going live in the chat. So I'm here for all smoke. Anyone got something to say? I'm out here. But
he came ready.
I'm out here. Thank you for having me on, brother.
Yo, it's an honor, man. Definitely an honor. We appreciate you joining us tonight. We're definitely looking forward to having a great show. Natalie, let the people know a little bit about you.
Hi, everyone. I'm excited to be here again. I love this show. I love what you guys are both creating. I'm just happy to be here.
Oh, yeah. Glad to have you back. Last time you were on, dropping so many gems, you and Krista both. And with that being said, Krista, definitely introduce yourself to the people. Let them know a little bit about you.
Yes. Hi, everybody. I'm Krista. I'm ready. I'm excited. Just some background. I am 29 and I am single, as in like single. So not like relationship single.
Yo, she had to double it up. You know it's serious when you double the words up. She's single, y'all. Y'all heard
well, because some people be like, oh, but I'm single, but I'm in a relationship. So it's like gotta specify.
I hear that. Yo, so we'll start things off with our wonderful little pre-show icebreaker. So it's random 3. So I got 3 questions lined up for you guys. And I'm going to start with you, Natalie. You get to choose between question 1, 2, and 3. Which one would you like?
I'm going to go with 2. Question
All right,
2.
2. So the question is, have you ever been or would you ever go on a blind date?
I've never been on a blind date, and I would definitely go on a blind date. Someone actually asked me that yesterday. I would be open to it.
She like, yo, let's make it happen. So right. Like, I'm like, are you going in like full courage mode, like no fear, like I got this, or are you like, I don't know how this is gonna turn out?
I feel like I would go into it with an open mind because it's like you really don't know. You might meet someone and it's terrible, but it's like, hey, it was a blind date. There's not really a lot of high stakes there. So I feel like I would go into it with a courage mindset, but also I think I'd see it more as an adventure, like just kind of a fun way to get to meet somebody new.
I hear that. And want to give a huge shout out to JD Clay. We appreciate you for joining us in the chat today, as well as Miss Pollard. Welcome. Hello.
Hey.
Glad to have you guys joining us today. It's a great evening, another great live show. And we're in our icebreaker asking the question, have you ever been or would you ever go on a blind date? Let's go over to my man Black Belt. What's your answer, bro?
Nah, I'm not going on a blind date.
Really?
Why not, Black Belt?
No. By the way, I fumbled this. I thought I was going to get into this on this question, but I'm 28 and I'm in the Carolinas and I'm single. But
okay, there we go.
I would say, why not? Oh, because I do the hunting. No one sets me up. I go after what I want.
yo, that man know what he
set up.
Know what he
I
about.
don't want to set me up. I'm good.
But what if your friend was like, bruh, she's everything that you say you want. You just don't know her. Like, let me make this connect real quick.
I would tell my guy, you can introduce us and I'll take it from there.
Okay. Or like you could at least be like, could you be like, I'll tell her about you and add her on social media? Like, would you go with that?
Hell about. Nah.
He can't tell the girl about you.
She'll know exactly who I am when we meet. I got this. I don't need help from one of my guys. Also, if he brought her to me, unless he's married, I ask him, why ain't you hollering at her then?
Because everybody's not for everybody.
Interesting. That is interesting.
Quality women are always in demand. No, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that.
All right, man. So let me give another shout out. Tiffany is in the building. So glad for you to join us on the show tonight. So glad. Yes. And Krista, coming over to you. Oh, hold on. We got
read that out. Read that one. Read that one, Immanuel.
Which one? This one right here? JD says,
Tiffany
yes,
Smith.
I've been on a blind date. It was a great evening, but nothing ever came of it. Would I go on a blind date today? it would depend on who was trying to set me up on a blind date. Yeah. I
That's
hear
always
that.
a factor.
You got to be mindful of who's setting you up for sure.
Exactly.
So coming back over to you, Krista, have you ever been or would you ever go on a blind date?
I don't think I've been on a blind date. I might have been on like he's bringing his friend, and you guys have a little something, like I've had that happen, but not like a official like blind date. But yeah, I would go on a blind date, but I agree with JD. Yeah, I feel like it would depend on who I'm going with. I mean, not who I'm going with, but who referred the date. Like,
no, that's real. That's real.
Absolutely.
Yo, you can't trust everybody. So some people have you jacked up out here in the world for sure. Tatiana, what about you? Ever been on a blind date or would you ever go on one?
Yes, I have. I've been on about maybe like 2 for sure, and both of them have been good. So like, yeah, it's like I didn't know what to expect. So like Natalie said, went in with an open mind. They told me the person who set me up with them told me about them. So I was like, okay, so I have a little idea of what they're like and why they might have thought of me to set me up with that person. But overall, we had a good time both times.
That's what's up. And I got my man Black Belt's chat in the back. He was like, yo, the comment I was talking about was the fact that I'm Mr. VIP, Mr. MVP, Dojo of Manhood. Yes, you were our MVP last week, man. You held it down for us for sure. We will give you your props, man, for sure. And even Tiffany, remember, yes, man. Yo, Krista, I know you want the MVP. You still coming for it one of these days?
I do want it. Yes.
Yo, Tanisha's in the building. What's up, Tanisha? She says, hey guys, I don't do blind dates. Most people have tried to introduce me to people I would not be interested. So she like Black Belt. Like it ain't happening. Not around this way.
I have a question.
Yes.
When people do recommend, oh, I have someone for you, do you ever ask them, do you want to see their picture? Because I've had that happen to me too, and that determines a little bit if I want to go on the date with them. Has that ever happened to any of you guys?
I've done that. I've been a part of doing that to someone else before.
And they were like setting somebody up.
Yes. Me and my sister were setting up one of our friends and she was like, let me see a pic. And, it ended up not working out. But I feel like even if I don't know, I just feel like I see it as an adventure. If you're single, it's like, it doesn't matter either way. It's like, it could work out really well or it could be terrible and you add it to your stories of terrible dates.
So Natalie, how adventurous are you? Are you like anyone can set you up on a blind date and you would go, or does it still have to be like someone that
it would have to
be, I would trust them?
It would have to be a friend. It'd have to be a friend, or like I wouldn't do it with an acquaintance. It's just like, oh, I know somebody. Here you go.
With.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Not you wouldn't. Okay.
No.
Yo, she's still playing it safe. She's still, she's like, yo. She's like, I'm not bungee jumping without the harness, right?
Yes.
Like, exactly. I still want the safety equipment.
Yes.
So let me give some shout outs, man. So we got Katiwe in the building. What's going on? So glad to have you. And Katiwe said, nope and never. So once again,
you are really shocking me.
Yo, some people like they not with it. So we got Queen of Kings. What's going on? Welcome says, but seeing a picture defeats the purpose of a blind date, right? It does kind of.
But if I'm going to a restaurant, I need to know what you look like to find you.
Right.
That's true. I
thought you were gonna.
I think though, for it to be blind, you kind of get a description of the person, but like you don't actually get to see them in 4K. Like, yo, this is who it is.
It is not 1995. If I have pictures, show me a picture.
I don't know, because you could easily say, all right, we're gonna meet at, we'll say, I don't know if y'all know this, but Bonefish Grill, and the reservation's under Black Belt. I get there before she does, so when they say I'm here for Black Belt, they bring her to the table.
Right.
What is the point of doing that? Like, why not? Like,
I mean, for the spirit of blind date, I mean, it should be blind.
I feel like it's still blind if I see your face, because I don't know who you are. Like, I feel like blind date is not just aesthetics; it's also personality.
Yeah,
that's a factor. True.
Yeah. It's like I don't know anything about you.
One of the blind dates I went on, they just came to the place that I was at, and we opened the door. I literally opened the door. That was my first time seeing them, so that was like literally a blind date. So it just depends. I didn't think about that with like looking at them and then getting to know them too, because I think that kind of ties into our topic today with online dating, because sometimes you don't know that person all the way through until you start asking them questions on the date.
Mm-hmm.
That's real. That's
Oh,
real.
yeah.
You know how they say
Absolutely.
sometimes looks can be deceiving. So
Mm-hmm.
I think we had a few more chat comments. So let me go through these. Tiffany says, I've been on a blind date and it was good, but I was already in the relation. Hold on.
Okay.
That's different. Okay. My friend's objective was to get me out of, oh, so she was already in a relationship. Okay. So like
Yeah.
the duh threw me off. I'm like, hold on, y'all already together, but this is the first time y'all seen it. That's different. But nah, so she was already hooked up with somebody. And then she was like, yo, let me put you on this blind date. Okay. Okay. I see you.
That sounds
Black
messy,
girl looks
but whatever.
upset. You
Hold
look.
on. Say that. What'd you say, Blackjack? I mean,
That
Black
sounds
Belt?
messy, but all right.
Yeah. That was kind of sussy. She would. What do they call it? Monkey branching. It's just like, yo, trying to monkey branch a little bit.
Yeah,
But
I know.
shout out to V Sanchez for joining us. She said that she would be open to blind dates and she would not mind the experience as well. So we got some people open to it. Tanisha says, yes, Tatiana, and I was not impressed with the picture.
Dang, Tanisha.
Oh, straight savage, man. Straight savage. Look, she said they knew this guy was not attractive. Just because I'm single does not mean I'm desperate. Yo, Tanisha, she
I'm just trying to
from the
gauge.
hip.
Like on a scale of 1 to 10, what was he at? Because if he was like a 7, like you should go.
I honestly think that's a good point for maybe why you shouldn't see the person beforehand. Because I feel like if you see the person beforehand, now you're already starting to make judgments about them. Even I think I'd rather get there and feel like, oh, I'm not attracted to this person, but still have to sit there and interact with them, because they might have other things that you're drawn to, rather than spending the days leading up to it being like, oh, I'm not interested in this person. So that kind of makes me think I don't want to see them.
That reminds me of something real quick, y'all, for my Married at First Sight fans.
Yes.
The New Orleans season, when somehow Karen got Miles's picture and his Instagram, and she was looking at it, and she was like, the premise of the show is you're supposed to marry someone sight unseen, and you don't see them till you get at the altar looking at them. And so somehow she got his Instagram. She was able to look at his stories, his posts, and she was like, I don't know if I want to be with this man. She was really going through it.
She was.
Yeah, she
But
did
I'm
her
thinking
homework.
that we're just seeing a picture, like not like I don't know if you should have their full. I don't know.
It's kind of hard not to in today's day and age,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So Tanisha responded to you, and she said,
She
not
said
a
he's not
7,
a
Krista.
7.
Ooh, not a 7. Oh.
And Kazia says,
I just
I'm
had to
sorry,
make
Tanisha,
sure.
that's rough. Yeah, that's wild. That's wild. Yo, okay, man. Yo, that question was kind of hot. I don't even think we need to go into any other ones, man. We can dive right into our main topic of the day. But before we do that, I do want to give a huge shout out to where is it? I know I got it here somewhere. Maybe here it is. Yep. So huge shout out to Portia. She actually sponsored tonight's live stream again. Like I'm honored. I'm grateful, and I'm very thankful to Portia for supporting the stream, sponsoring our show, and just want to give her a huge shout out and just say thank you so much for your continued support. Anybody else that wants to support, the links are in the description, or as you can see, it's scrolling as well. But tonight we came here to talk about the do's and don'ts of online dating, and I want to kick things off with this question. Why are some women afraid to date online? Since we're all about helping women to better understand men's perspective, let's start with my man Dojo. Why, as a man, do you think some women are afraid to date online?
I don't know. I mean, I'd have to respond to what the ladies say first. I don't know what makes women afraid of dating online, honestly.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. So, Natalie, coming over to you, why do you think some women are afraid?
Well, I think there can be a lot of reasons. I think, speaking for myself, why I've been intimidated to do it in certain seasons is, for me, it just is a lot of work. And I know dating in general is just a lot of work, but I feel like online dating just kind of takes up a different part of your brain. Like, you really aren't getting that face-to-face interaction. You're kind of I don't know, it feels like scrolling through a magazine a little bit at times. And then you have the texting component and then like actually going out on the date. So I feel like for me, sometimes I can be intimidated by it because it just seems like a lot of effort just signing into the app on day one.
Nah, that's real. That's real. Krista, why do you think some women are afraid to date online?
Okay. So no, like I'm like the polar opposite. I was so awkward when I was younger that like I actually online dating is really kind of how I really started to get my foot wet. So I struggle to identify with this, but I recognize that I know that like since so I'm 29, like I said, so millennials, I think millennials kind of grew up where it was like a desperate thing. So I think there's still a little bit of that in people's ear. They're like, ooh, you're kind of desperate. Because I remember watching Girlfriends and Joan and them did it, and people were like, y'all crazy, you know, and that was like, what, like 02, you know? And like, so we kind of grew up like seeing our older cousins go on like regular dates. So I think to internet date is kind of uncomfortable. And then also, I think some people might just be like nervous to put themselves out there because they're like, dang, like what if I don't get likes? You know, what if I don't know, people don't like me, you know, or nobody wants to exchange numbers. So I think that it's just like nervousness.
Yeah.
Nah, that's real. Tatiana, what's your take? Why are some women afraid to date online?
Those are good points, ladies. I think sometimes I think women, like even women of faith, for example, we may be like kind of apprehensive to do it because we think that at that point we're pursuing it. We're pursuing relationships. We're pursuing a man if we put ourselves out there and go on a dating site, or we're being too fast or something like that. And then there's the personal safety aspect. Like maybe you're one of those women who watches a lot of ID channel and true crime stories, and
You got to stay off of it.
they literally have shows based off of situations that started off on the internet. So, you know, you get caught up in that. And so you start getting paranoid. So you get a little fearful about, you know, doing online dating. And what's the other thing? I think one more thing. Some people just think like there's just losers on dating apps, which is not true.
Yeah.
But sometimes people go into thinking like, man, the people I want, the people who are higher than 7 are not going to be on a dating app. I need to, surely they're not on the dating app. I need to find them at the grocery store, at the place I'm supposed to meet them at. I'm supposed to meet my husband in person. You know, some people are really dead set on meeting their spouse a certain way. So those are a few reasons, I think.
Yo, here's what Tanisha had to say. She's gotten the international scammers with the broken English.
Dang.
That's rough.
On
man.
dating apps? Really?
That's rough. I don't know how. You gotta tell us more about that story, Tanisha, for sure.
I think I got a better answer now, Jay,
Okay,
man.
yo, I was coming back around. What's your take, Black Belt?
I would say, in a general sense, then, now that I have a better understanding just of what some women's fear is, I think it does play a lot until there's a misconception of what actually online dating is in terms of and what's out there, if that makes sense. In terms of, like Tatiana said, like everyone on there, or at least the majority of people on there are losers, for example. Or I'm supposed to meet, I guess not but a woman's supposed to meet their dream guy at the grocery store. Which I don't know why, but I've heard that so often from women. I'm gonna just meet him like walking down the sidewalk one day, and he's gonna almost crash his car to the sidewalk trying to like talk to me. Like no, I've literally maybe have met 3 women my entire life who truly said, "Oh, I just met my husband while I was out buying onions," or I met my husband while I was getting buying a dress at Macy's. Like it's usually. People usually meet through some type of means. It's not just literally random strangers. In my experience of talking to people, but I can understand the safety aspect that women do have a concern with. Everyone's not. First, women aren't men, so there's the physical component, and so I get that. However, I would say to that aspect, I think that women psych themselves out in that notion of the online dating. Because statistically, this has been like proven. Stranger danger is not a thing. Statistically, most people get into harm, we'll say, by people they already know. And on top of it, I mean, online, just in general, the internet's only really been around since the 2000s. And I can name them. I'm not going to, but I can name five different women, and 3 actual families that were all serial killers long before internet. They didn't need internet to be doing what they're doing. So I guess my point to that is people who want to do that, they don't need Wi-Fi if they're going to do something to someone. And I think that's just the more so. But I do understand the safety concept, though. I'm not oblivious. Everyone's not 6'3", like 240, like black belt. So I get it. Like, the safety component is important. I would never tell a woman, like, oh, don't worry about it. Just meet them in the dark alley behind the Walmart.
Never.
I would never
don't
say that. But, I mean, that's it. I'll leave it there for right now.
Nah, I appreciate that. Yo, we had some great comments in the chat. Let me go through these really quickly. Katiwe says, I'm planning on trying online dating for the first time, hopefully this summer. Definitely do that.
Okay.
And the lack of control, and I have no patience. Also, the horror stories, people not being who they say they are. So that is part of where her fear comes from. So I respect that, and I appreciate your willingness to share that. We also had a comment come in, and shout out to Ebony Essence. Glad for you joining us tonight. We appreciate it. She says, I do both. I'm currently using online dating and in person. I'm jumping on late. Nah, you ain't late. You right on time. We glad you could join us. And I would say she's doing the right thing, which is you hedging your bets. I think you should be active online as well as in person as well. I think to just limit yourself to one or the other, it puts constraints on it. I think if you want the greater chance of being able to meet somebody, you definitely should be employing both of those methods. So going back to Tatianah, and I mean, not Tatianah, but Tanisha, when she was telling us about that horrible experience, it was on Tinder. Yep, it was on Tinder.
About Tinder.
And she says, I need you all to give us some reputable dating apps. Plenty of Fish and Tinder are a no. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. That's definitely one of the questions I have.
Are we also going to like address like how dating apps can be can sometimes cause problems too?
Yeah, I mean, we can. Yeah, okay. I'm open to it. Yeah. Definitely bring it up. So I'm with it. Ebony also says, for me, just have to let someone know where you are. Meet in a public place with others around. Keep it short. That's real. That's real talk. Good advice. And shout out, we got Tashi B joining us. Says a lot of men and women too lie on their profile, and that can be discouraging when you don't know if someone is being genuine. Yeah, there are liars out there. Ebony once again saying Tinder is a no.
That's the third no, y'all.
JD said, my bestie and I tried online dating. The guys were not who they said they were. The photos were like 5 to 10 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, that catfishing.
This is so interesting to me.
So yeah, people are dropping a gang of different apps. I've never even heard of some of these. Upward, Bumble.
I've heard of Upward. I've used
Ebony
Upward.
She has Upward. Can be cheesy. Just have to filter through it. Hold on, here's another one. I've never heard of it. It's so many different apps. Coffee meets bagels. Like, never heard of that one before. Yo, so like somebody said, black belt behind Walmart. Yeah, like don't do that. Like he was letting y'all know, ladies, don't fall for that.
Don't fall for the.
You gotta be careful whenever Walmart is mentioned anyhow.
I'm weak.
I was like, don't fall for the one where, hey, I want to be old school. Let me pick you up in my car. No. Or don't fall for the, hey, I want to meet at one spot. Oh, no. Let's change it to this spot. No. No. We meet at A. If we can't meet at A, we'll reschedule if I'm still interested. Right.
No, that's real. Yo, shout out to Nikki is in the building.
Oh, that's my girl. Hey, girl.
Says, I have a friend that dated online and they're happily engaged now. Yeah, it definitely works. It works for some people for sure. Yes. She says she'll ask her what app she used. So yeah,
help us.
And Katiwe wants to know what apps are black girl friendly. So I'm gonna make sure I put a star by this so we can come back.
That's a good question.
And somebody said Hinge is great. I like y'all naming apps I've never even heard of. And this is for you, Krista. Nikki is saying, hey, boo. So what's going on? We got my man Andre from the Harrison Family Values in the building. Appreciate you for joining us. Hope you enjoyed this show. So with that being said, y'all, let's get into the second question of the night, which is, how can women overcome their fears of online dating? So we talked a little bit about what they are. Let's come over to you, Crystal. What do you think the ladies can do to overcome them?
I think you just need to do it. Like I don't know. I just feel like
Cannonball, right?
like people be really in their heads about everything. It's like what's the worst case scenario? Like you'll be in the same situation that you are in now. Like so just try.
Mm-hmm.
I hear that. Natalie, anything you want to add?
I agree. I think you just got to do it. And I think there are two ways you can go about doing it. You can just get on and make it fun, just have fun and treat it like an adventure. Or I think you can treat it like a job a little bit and maybe just like set a scheduled amount of time that you go on every day, check in, and give yourself a period of time. Another piece of advice I've been hearing lately is like people challenging people on online dating apps to date multiple people. So rather than just finding one person that you really like, try it out with a few different people. It removes some of the pressure and then kind of see how it goes from there.
I hear that. I hear that. So give me a moment before I come over to you, Tatiana. Want to give a huge shout out to Andre joining us. He says Black People Meet is a good one to use. And my man JD is in the building. What's going on? He says Hinge is the best that he's seen. It's good to be here. Yo, glad to have you here, bro. And yeah, I appreciate it. You guys keep dropping them in the chat so people can have access to them. But Tatiana, what's your take? What do you think women can do to overcome their fear of dating online?
I think the more they try it, at least getting themselves out there, putting themselves on the app, spending time on the app, the more consistency you build, the less nervous you'll feel about it. Like if you dedicate maybe one day a week, I don't know how people want to do that, but one day, for example, a week where you're going to like be intentional about going through your profiles, you'll have less apprehension about being on there. Like you'll get used to it. Like, oh, it's Tinder Tuesday, or maybe not Tinder, sorry, Hinge Tuesday.
Right. You got into it, Tatiana. Like they like, hold on, not Tinder, not that.
Right.
Not that one.
And then you just do your swiping, do your searching, improve your profile, see what you can add to it, look at the results. Like this week I posted this kind of picture up. Here's the results that I got, and measure that, and then keep going and add to it. Don't give up because you didn't get what you wanted yet. Just be consistent.
Nah, that's real. We had one come in from Katiwe, says, I agree, Natalie. I have zero expectations. I just have a list of 36 restaurants I would like to visit before leaving New York.
Yes.
That's an extensive list.
That's
coming over to my man Black Belt to provide the male perspective. How do you think women can overcome this fear of dating online?
I would say, going back to before, it depends on exactly what is their fear, because some of the things just aren't even, they're just not factually proven. So some of the things they just kind of, like others said, they got to get it out of their heads of some fears. But I would say most importantly, like all the ladies have said, just try it. Just get out there. There's really nothing to lose. And here's something that, pretty much regardless of what you're looking for in a man, I would say I think sometimes women who are especially apprehensive to online dating don't fully grasp that there's only really about 20 to 25% of quote unquote quality men just on the planet, period. And the reason why I'm saying that, I'm not even talking about finances right now. I'm just saying in general, because by definition, if we're saying I want a high quality guy, there can't be 90% can't be high quality. There has to be some type of cutoff just by definition of what high quality means. And I think for women, it would just not make sense at all for them to limit their opportunities and exposure to try to get as many bites at the apple ultimately.
Nah, I hear that. Yo, I was tickled a little bit because I saw Krista's face when you when you mentioned that 25%. And Tatiana looked like you want to come in. Before you jump in, Tatiana, let me just shout out two chat comments. So the first one is from Nikki. She says, I agree, Krista and Tatiana. That's good. I love the self-agency. If you want something, put yourself out there, commit to it, and have faith about it. That's real. And shout out to Allah. I hope if I pronounced it wrong, definitely let me know in the chat. I will get it right. How do y'all think that's pronounced? What do y'all? Allah? What's y'all take?
Say Allah.
Allah? Okay. definitely let me know because I like to get people's names correct. And she says, there's a lot of crazy people. Just be safe. That right there is facts. That's facts. So, yeah, coming back over to you, Tatiana, what's your take?
On how to get rid of the fear.
Well, no, I thought you had something that you wanted to say in reference
Oh,
to what Black Belt shared.
no, I was just
You
agreeing
made a
with
little face
you.
too.
I was agreeing with you about Krista's faces. It took a minute to reactions to Dojo.
Well, I have a question. Okay, so
Mhm.
are you saying that? Because like when 25% sounds really low, so I just want to give my girls some inspiration out here. Like, is there only 25% of good women? Like, I'm just trying to see like is it a match for match here, or are you saying it like no, like y'all women up here, men we down here? Like, does that mean?
The best I can give you is look at the bell curve. The standard bell curve in terms of 64% of people are somewhere between average, between the middle. So by definition, only about, I'm actually being generous saying 25%, but only 30% of people can be above average in quality as a overall. That's just not even, that's not Black Belt's opinion.
Right,
that's pure economics. Yo, like, look at Black Belt. He's like, yo, I'm bringing the academics today.
Are you a lawyer? Is that what your profession was?
Yeah.
Okay, I see you. Come with the statistics.
Yo, but that's real though. The bell curve is fast.
So, do you feel like quality men are on dating apps?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I would say that. I would say quality men are everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
That is. Again, that doesn't mean there's. There just can't be half of men can't be high quality. That's just not possible. Or else, if it was if half were high quality, that wouldn't be high quality. That'd be average.
Dang, that's deep.
That is.
That makes sense. That's why they call it cream of the crop. There's only so much that can be that.
But was that?
No, go ahead, Krista.
Was it last week where the one guy he was like, I actually don't think that women should go for the what's the thing that Kim Samuel always says, like the high value man is something like that. Like he was like, I don't think women should go for him. I think that they should go for like.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
A step down, and I agree with that. Like I don't know, like you don't need nobody. He don't have to be like 6 foot making over 100K. Like he can be regular. Like I don't know.
To a certain extent, that kind of goes back to Black Belt's point about the bell curve, because like clearly he's regular, so he kind of fall into that center groove, right? So not that that's a bad thing, right? No. It's just speaking to the numbers that's where quote unquote the majority of people would be. But we do got some comments that came in. What? But first, I gotta address this comment right here from tonight's show sponsor. Our girl Portia is in the building. What is up, Portia? Huge shout out to you. So Portia says, the facial expression said it all, but why do all men have to be quote unquote high quality? Is a good man or woman still okay? I'm assuming that's directed at Black Belt. Do you believe that a good man or woman that's not high quality is still available out there, Black Belt?
I don't know what good woman or good man is, but if people want me to, I can define high quality at least on the man side. But
that would be
I could do that. I'll do that right after answering this question. What I don't know what good is, but I saw some people said there's nothing wrong with being average. As actually proven, there's something wrong with being average in America. The average American doesn't know what they're going to do when retirement comes. They don't have any savings.
Is that average?
That's absolutely average.
Oh, okay. Then maybe because I'm like, I think I'm average, but I don't think I am.
The average. Social Security did the study. Social Security Department did the study. Over 40% of Americans say they don't know what they're going to do when retirement comes. That's the problem with average.
Okay.
But that's beyond the point. So define what a high quality man is. I would say this: high quality men. I look at it like this: they have to have 5 pillars that they focus on, or that they at least are. I would say, if I had to put a grading scale, at least a B to B plus at on average. It would be their emotional, their emotional capacity, intellectual, social, financial, and physical. You don't got to be an A+ at everything, but you can't be an F at anything of those 5. And I'll give an example. If I'd say for Black men, we'll just stick to Black men. So I know those numbers the best. Median Black man makes $41,000 a year. I mean, that's average. That's just well, that's not average, the median, but that's not blowing anything out the water. I would say if you are I'd say 30% above, well, 25 to 30% above whatever your recommended weight is. That's below average. That's not, I mean, or maybe that's average, but that's not excelling in any way, shape, or form. If you're 5'9", 230 pounds as a man, that's not average. Or the very worst, unless you're a professional football player, that's not what you're supposed to be as a physical size. Intellectually, I mean, we can discuss whether that means degrees or whatever, but we're just talking about general experience and awareness of how essentially life works and how you're going to make life work for you, whatever that takes. Social can be plenty of things, knowing how to work a room, knowing how to talk to people, how to work with people. And then emotional, essentially not being a baby boy or not being, as people would say, an F boy. So that's a very, very, very quick, skim of things. But yes, high quality would be a man who's, I'd say, at least a B at all 5 of those things.
Mm-hmm.
And some of these things don't take that much effort. Some of these things, some of these people, y'all giving a lot of people too much passes at being below average at certain things in their control. I'm saying you. I'm saying in the chat.
Oh, no, I was agreeing. Like, preach. That was good.
Like, some of y'all giving way too much. So this is a Christian channel, so I won't curse. Y'all giving way too many passes about some things that are well within your control. I can get it. Not everyone can make 150 grand a year. As a guy, there's no reason for you to be 50 pounds overweight unless you have an eating disorder, which that's less than 10% of the population. So I ain't trying to hear that.
Oof.
Not having social skills or not knowing. There's a difference between not being socially strong and just being awkward and not knowing how to do anything. All right, no, that's not acceptable at 30. You need to figure it out. The world's not gonna work itself around you. Oof. Intellectually, if you can't teach, I mean, I want to say women. We'll just say if you can't teach anyone anything of value that they can use, being a billionaire is useless if other people can't benefit from you. So whatever you could do for yourself is pretty much pointless. I mean, you got to have value to other people. And then, as I said, the whole financial. I mean, I won't even go there. I won't go there. There's enough people talking about the financials. I won't go there. But
yeah, that's fair.
I'll just say, I'll leave it at that. I've been rambling.
I mean, you already dropped plenty gems right there, Black Belt. But we do, it's all about men, understanding that every man doesn't think the same, every man doesn't agree. And JD Cotto is saying that he doesn't necessarily agree with some of the things that Black Belt is saying, and that's fair, right? Our whole thing over here is about being respectful. So JD, I'm gonna bring up some of the comments that you share, and would love to hear your thoughts in addition to these comments. So he was just saying that there's plenty of quality men. Most women just look over them. Most people are average, so average is not bad. So that's what JD was saying from his perspective. And then he also says that's why we need to pair up. 2 incomes are better than 1. That's how you make it to retirement. And I think that there's credence on both sides of the argument. The one thing that I really rock with regards to what Black Belt was saying is it speaks more so to a person's personal initiative, right? I don't think that a person should be relying on having the income of their spouse in order to be able to survive and make it in life, right? So I definitely believe that as a man, for sure, you should be able to take care of yourself. And I mean, clearly, if we're talking about an adult woman, there has to be some standard of her being able to do the same. So I get what my man JD is saying. I think that it definitely is a benefit for sure if you do have 2 incomes, if you have a husband and wife that are working. But I just wanted to point out the fact that we may not all view things the same. And that's important. The same way that every woman doesn't think the same, every man doesn't either. And we appreciate everybody for sharing their thoughts, their perspectives on these topics. So with that being said, let's see. Oh, this is a perfect time. Let's pause here for a moment for Dojo, my man Black Belt, to let you know about his channel, the Dojo of Manhood. So definitely let them know how they can support you, where they can check you out if they want to hear more of the great gems that you've been dropping.
Yeah, so my channel, the Dojo of Manhood, we talk about essentially building strong men because there's been too much on YouTube of people just giving away passes and not looking towards men for leadership. I don't care what you say. I don't care what social media tells you. I don't care what feminists tell you or anything like that. The first thing that all countries do or all invaders do when they want to take over another land is they wipe out the men, and the women and children fall in line. If you want to run away from manhood, I can't help you. But if you are here to build manhood and help each other build it, come to the channel.
I hear
By
that. Yo,
definition, none of us would be here if people were average. Over 80% of men do not get to procreate. I'll just leave it at that. That's throughout history.
yo, Black Belt dropping gems, facts, nuggets all over the place. And there's a link to his channel. I just dropped it in the chat as well as in the description wherever you're watching this YouTube video. So definitely make sure you guys go open up another tab and show my man Black Belt some love. Go subscribe to his channel. But with that being said, let's go to our next question, you guys. So our third question for the night is, what's required for women to meet the type of men they desire online? So let's come over to you, Tatiana. What do you think is required in order for that to happen?
What's required for women to meet the kind of men they desire? I mean, they should know what they're looking for. I'm trying to wrap my mind around this question. What's required of women to meet the type of men they desire? I think with online dating, I think you have to, again, put effort into it. It's not something that just happens to you. And I think sometimes women get a little complacent with the pursuit because we're kind of brought up to, most of us are brought up to believe that, you know, the men comes to you. Sometimes there's dating apps like Bumble where you're encouraged as a woman to approach the guy or to initiate the first conversation. So that requires some bravery on your end. That requires you to not take yourself so seriously that you're like, oh, it only has to be this way. If you're doing online dating, you're probably more open-minded than you think. So you need to enjoy that process and not take it so seriously. Like you have to meet somebody off of this. It might lead you to some networking opportunities. You might meet some new friends. You might get to meet someone on the way to the date with the person you met online. Who knows? Like, just be open and don't be so rigid about the experience, wanting to expect something so bad that when it doesn't happen, you're ready to just cut off all those profiles. Like, sometimes you just gotta be able to take an L. All right. If someone doesn't respond to you, if the person you're crushing on the app doesn't respond to you the way you want to, be willing to bow gracefully and move on.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Coming over to you, Natalie. What do you think? What would you add?
I agree with you, Tatiana. I also think we have to be willing to trust the process and be patient with the process, which can be intimidating for me at times. But I think though we all want, you know, our grocery store story, or I want the coffee shop story. That's my scenario. I think that like very rarely does it work like that, and very rarely does it work like that on dating apps. Like you're not going to find the love of your life with your first match. You kind of have to be willing to scroll or swipe a few times and get to meet different people and go on bad dates. So I feel like in a way, online dating is it's just another version of real life dating. And so you have to be willing to go through the process and go on the bad dates to enjoy the good ones.
Real talk. Real talk. Coming over to you, Krista. What do you think is required?
Okay. I'm trying to think. So I think first off, you need to, before you even think about online dating, I want people to make sure that they like know where they are mentally, because I think it's really important because that you can handle, that you know what you want and you're not afraid to like not say yes to everybody. I feel like if you do not have that trait down, I don't know if online dating is what you should be doing, because you're going to get a whole lot of hey beautifuls and hey, you know, hey cutie, whatever. But you need to be able to like to weed that out. So I think if you don't check your like self-esteem, like your self-confidence, to just make sure that like you know what you want and you're willing to wait for it and not say yes to everybody, because on online dating, like you're gonna meet some people who think you're stunning and they're gonna want to like go on a date tomorrow. So I just feel like you need to make sure that you have the ability to like say, hey, can we slow this down? Like, you know, or, you know, how about we think about doing that next week? I think that's really important. And also, like Tatiana said, just having like a really open mind, I think is important. Like, don't go on. I personally feel like going on dating apps, like my husband's gonna be on here, is a really dangerous way to be on a dating app. So I would not go on it like that. I just recommend, if you are a person who cannot be a little more like calm with dating, then I truly would not recommend you do it. But if you're a person who's not as open-minded to it, I would say, like, yeah, just give it a chance and just make sure that you know, like, what you can handle.
Nah, that's good. That's good. So before I come over to my man Black Bill, got a few comments that I want to read. First, Ebony was saying, yes, don't be thirsty and desperate. That right there, you definitely do not want to be thirsty and desperate. And then Nikki says, I think we have to have the standards of the 5 pillars, but we also have to have grace, not passes. Grace says you may be a C in one or more areas, but you're committed to improving on that area and showing consistent effort on your own. Pass is saying this person has an F, but I see potential when they show no agency, no commitment, etc. And that right there is key. Like, a person has to be improving,
Yes.
like I look at the women who this channel is directed towards. It's those women who acknowledge that, hey, I don't understand everything about men. I may not have the best interactions with men, but I'm open to improving in that area so that she can increase her chance of meeting and eventually dating the type of man that she wants to meet. But you have to first be willing to acknowledge that. So that was a really great point from Nikki. And then we have one from Portia that says, definitely take your time and make sure you have peace about any decision you're making. That right there is key. And then we had a question come in from Tiffany, says, how long should you interact before meeting up? So I'm gonna pass this over to my man Black Belt, and then also get your thoughts on our original question. But what do you think with regards to Tiffany's question, Black Belt?
How long should you interact before meeting up? My general, I guess you say, timeline is we match or whatever. And we're gonna get to this topic later, but Hinge is what I would best recommend to people. But we match within about 48 hours. Generally, I try to take it offline, get a number, and then I'll try to, even if we don't necessarily go on it because whatever, maybe things break down, but I try to get us scheduled for some type of physical date within about 7 to 8 days. And the reason why is because, there's only so much texting you can do. There's only so much video calls you can do. And I like to think, at least, I know I did my due diligence. Now, I've obviously had dates that didn't work out, but I've never had a quote unquote this was a horrendous match. I've never had that happen because I do my due diligence. So I'm going to trust the other person's done their due diligence. So I would say, give or take, barring extreme circumstances, I'd say at least within 10 days after you actually got their number. But if I may just respond just to one thing, since they brought up the pillars.
Yes.
It'll be real quick, I promise.
You want me to bring that comment back up or no?
Yeah, sure. For the viewers, yeah. I'll make this real quick, bro.
Yes, my girl Nikki.
It's the exact least criteria I use for the pillars is that the man must average out to be a B to a B plus across all 5 factors. But he may not be below a C, which is average, in any one of these. So what I am saying is, hypothetically, he can be a C in terms of physique. As long as he's an A and something else, that levels it out because that puts him at a B. And so I don't think the man has to. I don't think he has to become ultimately, a B plus at everything or an A at everything. That's just unrealistic for him to be essentially great at all 5 things or excel or elite in all 5 categories. So I just wanted to clarify at least my stance on that. Of a C is fine, frankly. He just need to be offsetting that in somewhere else. But to the main question, what should women do? I would say that. I would say be intentional and I have to say, dating online moves fairly quicker than I would say in person. And what I mean by that is it's all rapid pace because, people are getting, hopefully they're getting matches from multiple people. They see a new profile every other day or however often they check. So I agree. Don't rush into a bad decision. But I definitely would heed a warning to women. Don't just be messaging a guy for 10 days to 2 weeks on the dating app. I don't think that's gonna like work in your favor, honestly. And if I want to be specific, that's not gonna work in my favor because I'm not. I can get a pen pal in prison if I just want to message somebody.
Oh my gosh.
If that's what we're gonna do, I can just get a pen
I'm
pal.
so done.
Get you
But-
prison bay.
I mean, they ain't going nowhere.
So can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
Black belt.
Ask anything.
So are you at a point in your life where you're dating with intention, like you're looking for your next relationship to be your last?
This is a very interesting question you ask because
I feel like the way that you're approaching online dating is giving me that, and it was interesting to me because you're sounding real quick, and it was just like I wonder, like what you're explaining to me sounds like the ideal situation, but I don't know. I guess for me, I would think to go a little slower. So I was just curious, like where you are, like dating.
Okay, no problem. To answer the last question, then I'll go to your first one.
Yeah.
When I say go quick, I'm not at all by any means saying go jump in a relationship. What I am just saying solely is going from being online and just basically being in purgatory in the online stage is not actually building towards anything. That's just my point in that.
Right.
But to answer your question, what I guess am I looking for my next? You could say that, but I'm actually in a kind of, some people say, unique position where I don't want kids. So that, alter, and I'm not a Christian. So that, I'm not an atheist, but I'm not a Christian. So that kind of alters my quote on, well, actually, it really doesn't. You'd be surprised actually how many women are still fine with that. And they claim, oh, you'll change your mind. But anywho, yeah, so that kind of alters my position to like whatever I guess my status is. But to answer your question, sure, I could say I'm looking for my quote unquote next last thing. I kind of got mixed up what you said on that, but
no, your next relationship to be your last.
Yeah. I mean, that also is a kind of sticky thing because since I don't want kids, I don't really see why I would get married. But that's a whole nother thing.
Oh wow. You need to bring him back, Jay, like for some other conversations.
Oh, Black Belt will be returning next week for an exclusive men chat. So,
okay.
We cooking.
I didn't know that. He sprung that on me. I didn't know that.
We talked about it, Black Belt. Yo, we gonna make it happen. We talked about it. Yeah, man. Yo,
I'm gonna piggyback off of that real quick. That's why it's important to Dojo's point. I think that's important to kind of bring up. Know why you're going into online dating and then make sure you date people who want the same thing so you don't waste your time. Because like you said, it's quick. So you want to kind of get that understanding like, okay, you're dating for XYZ, me too. All right, when we meeting, make it quick like that, but know what you're getting into with that person.
Nah, that's real. So let me quickly go through some of these messages in the chat. So first one, Tanisha says, these love after lockup people are getting booed up faster than free people. Yo, that's crazy. Yo, people got prison boos out here. Katiwe says, like we are all working and have kids already. Who has time to be talking all the time with a random and not at least meet for a drink? That's right. Yeah, and one of the things that I wanted to point out too, with regards to what Black Belt said about getting from like the texting on the app to getting her number, like that definitely needs to happen within that first 48, like he said, because if a man is keeping you on the app for more than 2 days, 3 days, like why? Like why not? Why aren't y'all talking on the phone? Why y'all not FaceTiming? Why haven't y'all arranged to meet at some point? That's just my perspective. I feel like
I am so different. My heart is being shifted. Like I'm learning
Really?
because to me, I would think if you were like, can I get your number? I would be like, my number. I don't know. To me, my number is like a big deal.
Yo, that's funny, man. I was watching some videos on YouTube and like all these girls was tripping about giving out their number. That you can have my Instagram. What world are we in where people are like, you can have my Instagram but not my number? Yeah, Black Belt, what's your take, man? What's the man's perspective on
hand
that?
Up.
I gotta offer respect to the platform. I would honestly, Chris, this is the only way I could really put it, and I'll speak for myself.
Okay.
Black Belt is not waiting more than 48 hours
That's so interesting
to get your number. I'm just gonna be real with you. And the reason why I'm not waiting for more than 48 hours is because I'm not doing this to be obnoxious. I have multiple matches.
Okay, come on.
So this doesn't, I don't take, at least I'm not taking it personal. If we were on an online dating site and you said, "Oh, I'm not ready to give out your number," I wouldn't think, "Oh, I hope she go to hell." And all. No, I'm just like, all right, cool. But I'm moving on to something else.
Oh,
Like,
dang, for real? Oh, wow, that's deep.
That's fact.
That's part of the game.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not dropping you. But what I am saying is there are others that are in the mix. So if I can't get that face-to-face interaction with you, by definition, you have to be losing ground to other people.
That's
thank you for like this is helpful because I personally like anytime if I get on an app and someone's like, "This has been great, can we exchange numbers?" and it's been 48 hours, I'll be like, I literally would say, "Can we?" Probably Snapchat, and I don't use Snapchat. But it's just some way for us to get off the app, And then and then if I like the Snapchat, then we'll switch numbers or maybe Instagram. And like you're basically saying, like, Krista, that's too much. Like nobody wants to deal with that. And that's interesting. So
well, I will put this caveat. A man who's seriously interested in you is not gonna put up with that because he knows what he wants. Two things. A man that's seriously interested in you and a man that has other options, to Black Bill's point. I'm not going to sit around if you're not down with the program. Like, it's no point. Like, why are we staying on this app? Like, clearly you're not serious enough. So that you remove the equation. Like,
I would think I'm more serious because I want to vet this first. And then
look, if y'all connecting, there's interest. Like, why are we still texting each other? Like, I want to hear your voice. Let's talk. Like, we can see what's really going on here. I don't get it, man. I really don't get the fascination with exchanging Instagrams and staying on text messages when you're trying to get to know somebody. Like, to me, it's games.
I feel like I had a point in my life where I was on so many dating apps that like I gave out my number so much that like I still get random texts from people that I was like, that can't happen anymore. Like I'm so like, I'm real like, I don't like to give out my number.
Yo, check your girl Nikki.
Go ahead. And her and Marcus are goals. Come on, school me, girl. I'm gonna call you later.
Yes, Nikki.
No, they're literally goals.
So V Sanchez says, I can relate to Krista, but now my mindset is changing on exchanging numbers. Yeah, like, yo, ladies, seriously rethink that. If you're like, yo, I'm not gonna give out my number. Like, what do you have to lose? Like, it's not the alley in Walmart.
I mean, if it's about the numbers thing, you can always get a Google number if you haven't done that already, and then you won't give your direct number. Yeah, like Ebony said, just get a Google number so you can filter that out.
That's I'm coming over to you to Black Belt. Just one quick one. Queen of King says, I agree with Black Belt. If I meet someone who feels like a good match, I want to meet so I don't miss out. That right there. Like, yo, it's all about taking action. Like you guys were talking about before, in order to overcome the fear, you just got to try. You just got to get out there. You can't stall once you get to this point in the process. Like, you can't be I'm out there, I'm ready to go. And then as soon as a dude show interest and he asks for your number, you're like, well, like you literally just pumped the whole brakes. You pumped the whole brakes on yourself. So definitely take that in consideration for sure. But now coming back over to you, Black Belt, what do you want to share?
I was just going to say exactly what you said and what Queen of Kings said, because I pretty much, Krista, if we were on a dating app and you saw, Black Belt, he's this, he's that, he hits all my boxes, this will be a great choice. I think, I'm not referring to anyone here, but in general, I think sometimes women don't always remember, hey, other people see him as a great option too. So if I'm actually matched with, say, Tatianah and Natalie as well, they might say, oh, wait, I got to go. Like, I see him. This is what I like. They're going to meet up with me. Because, they have at least whatever their due diligence was, they saw, okay, Black Belt's a quality choice. So it's not, that's why I say it's not even me putting you to the back burner. It's if you see I'm a quality selection, other women probably see I'm a quality selection. And so they're going to be trying to make their move.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
I hear you.
I think Tatiana's frozen. I'm not sure what happened.
I think so too.
Oh yeah.
No.
I wonder if part
Natalie,
of this is speaking to the mindset that people have when they're entering the scene. So I'm wondering, Krista, if maybe your mindset is partially, I'm just getting to know people, I'm having fun, I'm seeing where this goes. Whereas if somebody's coming in and they're trying to be a little bit more serious, like I'm trying to have my next be my last, like that type of thing, maybe they're going to be a little bit more quick to give out their number. Because a few years ago, so with Coffee Meets Bagel, I kind of like that app because it's like within, I think, 48 hours or a week or something like that, your chat closes. Like they don't want you staying on the app.
Oh, wow.
And so I remember back then, like a guy, we were talking and he asked for my number. And I don't know why, but for some reason I didn't want to give it to him. So I started with email. I didn't even do social media. I started with email address.
Oh.
Yeah, we did. This was a few years ago. Okay? We did end up exchanging numbers in meeting, but I feel like now I would be much more quick to give out my number because I'm not trying to have that in between time. So I wonder if it just depends on the mindset that you have or where you're at when you're on the app, if that makes sense. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting from this conversation.
Nah, yo, that's real good. Yo, so two things. Let me first go through some of these comments that we had. Let's see. Okay, first one. Cynthia says, with more people being aware of high value and self-growth, do you think we will see growth in this area? As in more people will be rated B+ in these pillars. I think that kind of goes back to what you were talking about earlier about those averages, Dojo.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, that's fair. Nikki says, you'll find someone, Black Belt. Keep that faith. I'm sure that there are women out there who may want companionship without children. Yeah, there definitely are. And Tatiana, she says to you, yes, defining expectations of the relationship is key. And two more. So Queen of Kings said, oh no, you had something to say, Black Belt?
Yeah, I was going to say something to Nikki. Thank you so much. I appreciate the positive energy. Yes. I assure you, I do very well. Thank you so much. I have black women love Black Belt, which is why I'm not one of these. I'm not one of these, passport bros complaining about how much I can't stand with Black women. So thank you so much. I appreciate the positive energy, though.
Yeah, we hear that, Black Belt. So Queen of Kings says, Krista, what kind of questions are you asking men in dating apps to determine if you'd be interested? Because you're vetting them properly up front. Why wait to exchange numbers?
No, I think I do ask all the right questions. Like I'll ask, like, what are you looking for? I mean, they're usually their little profile will say if they want kids, because I want children. And yeah, I guess I'm just like to take it a little slower. I don't know. To me, it's interesting because in my head, I'm thinking more of like a man being a little more thirsty if he's asking for your number so fast. And I'm just like, he's not on the same thing as me. But what you're saying is, no, he's not thirsty. He's intentional. Yeah.
That right there.
So yeah, I took it more as like, he's too thirsty. Like, this is like a physical thing. So, okay. So it's interesting.
All right, so we got two more comments, and then after that, we'll transition. Came in from Danielle. Welcome to the stream. We appreciate you joining us on the show tonight. Danielle says the first characteristic of love is patience. Then goes on to say, I think there has to be a balance. If you feel rushed and he isn't willing to be a little patient, I believe that's what you're possibly signing up for, and quality over quantity. Yeah, but this is the one thing that I'll say, and it's a biblical principle. You got to count the cost. You be aware of the risk of holding back, because you may miss out on the guy that you was really feeling because you wanted to wait and draw it out. And to the point that Black Belt and I were mentioning before, like most men have other options when it comes to, like if you feeling him, more than likely, just assume at least two other people is feeling him too. Like just operate. Don't ever operate under the assumption that you're the only person giving him attention, because it's been proven women are attracted to men who other women are attracted to. So put that in the back of your mind. Remember that and act accordingly would be my recommendation. And I see Tatiana over there, moving the ball a little bit. What's your take? Look like you want something to say. So by all means.
No, I was just saying I agree with what you just said, Jay. It goes both ways. Yeah, we like to see that other people like the person that we're interested in. It kind of gives us that boost. It's almost like a sense of urgency, but
This is so interesting.
Yeah, you got some encouragement, Krista. Nikki says discernment. Krista, you got this, boo. And yeah, that's one of the things that I always harp on, right? Is wisdom and discernment. Especially as a woman of faith. If you are secure in the wisdom and the discernment that you have amassed, then why are you hesitant? That's kind of part of the trust that, God ain't gonna lead me astray, especially if you have the wisdom to have discerned whether or not this is a man of quality or substance, or a man that may just be wasting your time. That's not to say that it's going to work out, but move in that operate, move with that, understanding that, yo, my discernment isn't triggering any red flags. I'm not getting any, thing that's telling me this is a foolish decision to make.
Mm-hmm.
With a trigger.
This is so interesting.
Yes, Black
Okay.
Belt.
I did want to say I get what Danielle's saying, but I do want to say I don't love you the first time I talked to you on the online dating. I get what she's trying to get at, but that's way cart before the horse. But to your point, Jay Manuel, I thought women love guys who take charge. I thought they loved when men go after what they want. So that's essentially what they were doing when they asked for that number. Hey, I'm taking you serious. I'm trying to see what it is in real life.
You want to
Real
know
talk.
something? I think it's the how they go about it. Because sometimes women will be like, to Krista's point, she was saying sometimes guys be thirsty. It's the how you say it, how you ask for the number. Because we've all met that person that's just thirsty. They're like, let me get your number, like the person off of Mad TV. But then there's some guys who are just they take their time to ask you for the number. They ask for it in a polite, genuine way, whatever the way that caters to the woman, but it's just more genuine. It just seems sincere. So I think the how makes a difference for us in how we, if we should give our number to the guy or not.
Yo, that's good. That's good. So one last comment came in from Portia. She says, "No shame, Natalie. I used to operate on email too. At that time, my mindset was more of serious, committed, exclusive relationship. I think the mindset plays a role in the pace that you move on apps. That's real talk. So right now, we'll take a pause so that we can give center floor to Natalie. Definitely let everybody know about your devotional, how they can support you before we move on to our next question.
Thanks. Yeah, I have a devotional. It's called 52 Cups of Coffee, subtitle Weekly Reflections for the Contemplative Soul. And it's really just weekly devotionals for people that want to grow or connect with God. I know sometimes having a consistent devotional life or Bible study life can be challenging. So I wrote this book as a way to invite readers to have a cup of coffee or tea with God. It's available on Amazon or my personal website, natalieabrown.com.
All right, yo, just like with Black Belt's channel, there is going to be a link to Natalie's book already in the description. I'll drop one in the chat for you guys to check out as well. And then we did have a comment that came in from Queen of Kings, says, thirsty men's combo can be a bit reckless. Yeah, that's real talk. That is real talk. Yes, Natalie's book is amazing. Thank you so much,
Yes.
Tashi B. Definitely check it out. Yes, yes, yes.
Thanks. Thank you.
Oh yeah, yes, yeah. Y'all show her some love. Show her some love. We appreciate that.
Thanks.
And yo, we had a question that came in. I think this one is for you, Krista, from Katiwe. Is it because these men that you just weren't into? Is that the reason why you're not giving them the number? Is what my assumption is.
I think no. I mean, I feel like I can't say that if I matched you, like I'm kind of extra. Like if your little things, it has to say you want kids. It has to say you don't smoke, all that. So like if we match, you probably are someone that I'm somewhat attracted to. I mean, so I wouldn't say I wasn't into them. I think I just approach dating apps really casually. I think I just don't expect much out of them. I'm more so going into them like, my husband's probably not on here, but he might be. So let's just see. And I think maybe I need to change my mindset a little bit with it. And think that he could, potentially be on there. I think, because I don't use them very frequently, and usually when I do download them, I have them for like 3 days, and then I delete them because I'm like, this was enough. But so I think, I think it's my approach. I don't think it's that I'm not into them.
Okay, that's fair. Appreciate you for answering that question. Next question. We're finally going to talk about these dating apps. So, what online dating apps should be avoided? We talked a little bit about this. Coming over to you, Natalie. What apps do you think that people should stay away from?
Stay away from. I think people have already said it. Tinder. I'm not necessarily saying you shouldn't be on Tinder because one of my really good friends has met her serious boyfriend on Tinder. So you can find good people on there. I just think Tinder requires a little bit more work than some of the other apps just because I feel like nowadays Tinder can kind of be known as the hookup app. So I feel like there are a lot of people on there with that mindset, but not everybody. So Tinder would be be wary. But I think Hinge is a great option as well as Bumble, though I haven't used Bumble much, but I've heard good things about Bumble.
All right, good stuff. Coming up to you, Tatiana.
Yeah, I've heard bad stories about Plenty of Fish. And if we want to add some finance to this too and see if that impacts the quality of dates that people get, like the free apps. I hear a lot of people complaining that the free apps like Plenty of Fish and Tinder tend to be like not that great because anybody could sign up for it, but those ones that you have to pay a little bit for, whether you're a guy or a woman, it seems like you get more of what you're looking for. I did hear that Hinge was good. My sister met her boyfriend on Hinge. They're going on a year. And one of my friends met their wife on Tinder, but they weren't in the same city. He went out of town and she was in the other town. So I don't know if location plays a bit in it. I've seen hacks where people have changed their location if they're on vacation to meet other people and see what the prospects are looking like. So, but yeah, those are the two that I would say like a no go. Probably like Tinder, Plenty of Fish, despite my positive example.
No, that's real. That's real. So, Queen of Queen of King says Tinder is dangerous territory, and she also says I don't like Bumble because the woman has to say something first, and she doesn't have that much game, if any. Well, that's why you need to, come over here, get your game together. We'll coach you up. I'm happy to help you. We can definitely get you right if you want to know how to shoot your shot accurately, and come out a winner. Like, so don't let that scare you off. Like, I think that men should definitely take the initiative, but you should have at least something in your arsenal to get the conversation started. So here's something that's great. Tiffany says that she's going to be gifting Natalie's book to her friends and
Thank
family.
you,
So that is what's
Tiffany.
up.
Thank
Yes,
you. And
appreciate
thank you,
that.
everyone
Yes.
else, for the support as well. I really appreciate it.
Most definitely, most definitely. Coming over to you, Black Belt. What apps should be avoided?
I would say definitely. I mean, I would definitely recommend Tinder. I don't know much about PO. At least I don't know anyone who's had much experience with POF, but I'll say avoid it. Sure. I would just say, but from my experience and just my friends' experience, I would say Hinge seems to be the best specifically for Black people in dating. They say they could get the best. Even if it doesn't work out, they say everyone kind of as a consensus says they get the best kind of matches and outcomes on Hinge. Bumble, I mean, I at least say for the fellas, I know we're thinking about the women, but for the fellas, don't have much hope for Bumble. I've been on date with women, and they'll even say, "Yeah, I got Bumble, but I don't really use it because I don't like shooting my shot." And it's just, why are you on there then? But so yeah, I would say definitely Hinge is generally going to probably be best. I don't
And
know.
JD Carter is saying, please stay away from BLK at all costs. Like,
Wow.
I've never even heard of some of these, man. Like, yo, y'all definitely giving me a lot
Interesting.
of things taking into
Yeah.
consideration tonight. So, yeah, we appreciate that, Black Belt. So, coming over to you, Krista, there was a comment from Katiwe, which is, what apps are Black girl friendly?
Black girl friendly. I mean, okay, so I'm talking as if everyone on here is like looking to date intentionally. So I feel like if you're looking to date intentionally, Hinge definitely. I agree. Yeah, I've met like quality men on Hinge. And yeah, I would say I always think about Tinder. Whenever people say Tinder, I'm like, and they're like, oh, my best friend met her husband. I'd be like, they probably met in like 2016. Like, I feel like Tinder has not been like a go-to app in a long time. So definitely nix that. I have seen Plenty of Fish. Plenty of Fish is rough. It's like, I mean, if you like thugs and gangbangers, that's probably where you need to be. Um but yeah, I would say Hinge, but also a friend of mine, Jada Unique, she had recommended to try Upward again because Upward is doing a lot of advertising. I see like a lot of like Black Christian vloggers and like IG people who are hubbing it more. So like I did download it like yesterday, and there are like some Black men on there. So yeah, I would say maybe try like Upward and Hinge. And then in regards to like paying for an app, so I did like a free trial of Match one time for like a week. And I feel like Hinge and Match are like the same people. So I don't know. That was just me. So I don't know.
Nah, that's fair. That's fair. So Katiwe did have a second question. This is for the group. Is there a specific personality type of men that are typically on Bumble?
That's a good question.
I guess kind of going in line with what you were saying about plenty of fish being the place for thugs and what was that?
Gangsters, hood rats.
Thugs and hood rats. Oh, okay, yeah, you should definitely avoid that app if that's the type of energy. For sure, for sure. Anybody want to share anything to that question?
I think for Bumble, I don't think it's really anything to read into the guy or the gal. I think it's just changing kind of the role. I don't want to say the roles, but it's just changing the dynamics to where, at least I would think, women would actually prefer that. So now they're not getting their box basically bombarded with, Mike, Lil Slug, Caribbean Jack, and all them. But women don't like it. I mean, as a whole. I mean, let me phrase that. It's not as popular as other things, I should say. But I'm guessing part of it goes to the fact women don't want to do I'll just say approaching. They prefer to be I'll say approach, even though it's kind of virtually. So that's what I don't think it really reads into anything about Bumble for the men or the women on there.
Nah, that's real. That's real. And Danielle had a question for you guys. What about Match? She says she's heard good things about it.
That's the one that I said I didn't see much difference. I really didn't, but I only use it for like 7 days. And people say to like keep dating apps for like 3 months, like to really like flesh through it. So I would say give it a try.
Anybody else have experience or any thoughts on Match?
I haven't used Match, but yeah, I agree. What do you have to lose? Another one that we didn't mention is Coffee Meets Bagel. I don't know if people, I don't hear about that one as much, but Coffee Meets Bagel has a little bit more intentionality behind it. I think you get one person a day if you're doing like the free version. And then, like I said earlier, after a certain amount of time, I think it's like 1 week or something like that, they close out your chat because they don't want people just chatting all day on the app. They want you to get out and meet those people. So I think that's a good one. And from when I used it a few years back, it was very Black girl friendly. So.
Has anyone ever used eHarmony?
Oh, well, yeah, we'll touch on that one. And also, we got a question about Christian Mingle. So eHarmony and Christian Mingle, what's y'all take on those?
I haven't used either.
I don't know. I get nervous using Christian Mingle. I don't like because it makes me think like guys would be on there like I need a good Christian woman, and like I don't know, and you might dupe me or something. Like,
is Christian Mingle, is that a matchmaking service online or is that an app like a dating, like we're scrolling or swiping?
I'm not sure.
I don't think it's scrolling. I feel it costs money.
That's what I thought. I thought that Christian Mingle was kind of like their system is matching you with someone.
Ooh,
I think I could be wrong.
No, interesting. Yo,
I have an additional one real quick.
Yeah. What's up, Tatiana?
I just remembered, like, for those who are, believers and are sexually abstinent, they have even social media apps for that, for you to connect with people. One is called the Sexless Tribe app. And so it was started by a woman maybe 2 or 3 years ago. She wanted to create a platform for fellow abstinent Christians to get together. So if you're looking to connect with people for accountability, friends, and even romantic connections, as the app description says, you can check out the Sexless Tribe app.
Appreciate you for sharing that. And going back to Match, Cynthia says no. It's a regular app. She says, I've been on all the apps, so she would know.
Natalie, you need to start that idea. Somebody that would be dope to have someone in there, and they're like, "You'd be good with them."
Oh yeah, damn, I would be all for that.
That's interesting. So let's get to our next question of the night. So it's talking specifically about that online profile. What things should women include or exclude? I'm gonna come over to Black Belt because I mean, y'all want to know what is the man looking for? What things are you checking out on that profile, Black Belt?
I'm curious.
Oh man, what's the first thing? Well, first let's start with the basics. Have more than 1 or 2 pictures. If you just have one or two pictures, that's a dud. I don't care how good you look or what your profile says. I would say if outside the pictures, have multiple pictures of all angles. I would say actually fill out the descriptive box. Actually say something. Please. And this is coming from someone who's not a Christian. For the love of God, do not put just message and find out. Don't. No. I'm not doing that. That's a waste of my time. That's literally what the whole if you can't be bothered with filling out the box, I would have to assume that's the effort you're going to put into us conversing. So after that, I would say, I mean, on Hinge, I'm thinking about Hinge specifically, fill out the things, but give a little bit of, what are you looking for? Like, and best thing I would say is, don't rattle off a Christmas list, but list at least 2 deal breakers. If kids are a deal breaker, put it in there. If being a Christian's a deal breaker, put it in there. I mean, there are certain things that I think sometimes there are just some, reckless heathens, but most guys do respect when women say, this is my deal breaker. I would like to think at least most guys do respect. If I see it and read it, I already know this ain't gonna, if I was able to fake it that long, I'd be Denzel Washington. I can't act that long. So pretty much, give us your deal breakers, give at least 2 and give something that's unique to you. That's not common. And I mean, it's just a snippet for me. I'll say just for me, I like black looking women. And what I mean by that is I don't want to see, I don't want to see blonde weaves. I'll put it like that.
I love it.
Well, that's a preference. So if you like your blonde weave, wear your blonde weave.
That's what I'm saying. It's just for me. I mean, I will say this though: most black men prefer natural hair. But do what you want. Do what you want, ladies. I'm just saying.
Can I ask a quick question? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Tatiana.
Okay. Yeah, we have questions for
Absolutely. Go ahead.
One of them is, okay, what do you and other guys think about women who put filters on their pictures? Is that something that we should do or go, more natural lighting and stuff like that? Should we consider those factors with the pictures?
I mean, if we're thinking with filters, I guess, don't go high schoolish where it's got like clearly you don't have bunny ears. Don't do like that type of filter.
Oh my gosh.
But I would say, I mean, keep it as close to what your realistic look is, if that makes sense. Because we already know women wear makeup. That's not like some shock to us. But keep it as much to what I would see on a day-to-day basis, if that makes sense. Filters, I don't think filters would be a deal breaker.
Okay. And honey blonde or Beyonce blonde is a very common color for black women. So is that too blonde? Or you talk about platinum blonde, like Leaks blonde? Like
you said honey blonde for Beyonce. I'm pulling it up now.
Okay. Honey blonde. Most black girls go with that.
Yeah, like I have a working theory that most black women have a blonde phase, but blonde is relative depending on what shade you want to go with. And so I was just wondering.
It's not so much, and I want to be clear. I'm not saying that if you have the Beyonce blonde thing, I'm not saying you're just dead in the water. I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying is this though. Women have to remember this. The guy needs to be, or at least you want the guy to be as attached to you specifically as possible. So when you add things that any woman could do to themselves, that makes you less unique. That makes you, I don't even want to say unique. That makes you less specific to, and pretty much, all right, essentially I can build a Barbie. For example, Tatiana, she been getting a little slick at the mouth. I'm just going to grab, Alley Cat over here and throw a blonde wig on her. And they're the same.
This is interesting.
That's something that you don't want to be in. I mean, I'm being facetious, obviously. Tatiana's not at all equal to that, but I'm being facetious, but you want the guy to be attached to you and specifically only things he can experience that involve you. Like, for example, your hair. Or obviously you can get your nails done and they get it. I mean, don't have the nails to God. The nails to God usually don't work.
The nails to what?
Basically don't have the 4-inch extended nails.
Yeah, those nails of God.
But what if they like them like that?
All right, fine.
Hey,
All right, you pushing it,
you're
Krista.
hearing
All right,
directly
fine.
from
I'm gonna just
a
say it.
man.
All right, Jamie, they're gonna make me say it.
And this is coming from a girl. My
I'm
nails
with
are
you,
short.
Dojo. I hate the long nails.
All
Absolutely
right.
hate them.
No,
Hate
I
them.
don't like them either, but I feel like if she likes them, she should keep them.
all right,
Yeah.
all right, all right, fine. You pushed me to the corner. I gotta say it now.
Then we come into
Here-
Natalie.
Here is actually a great problem that unfortunately, a measured amount of women have like run into an issue with. When it comes to dating, it's not about just what you want. If he don't like those nails, he don't like those nails. And as a widespread, I've never. I'm a lawyer now. I don't work in all professions. I've never seen a lawyer's wife, never seen a businessman's wife, never seen a doctor's wife, never seen an accountant's wife. I've never seen any of their wives have those 3-inch long nails. I've never seen them have butterfly eyelashes. I've never seen a black woman who's actually married to one of these men have, a Britney Spears blonde wig. I've never seen these things. The only women who look like they're winning are IG models, and there's a reason why they're IG models and not IG wives.
I don't know. I have to disagree with that one. I think it might be your field because I understand what you're. I work in corporate too, but I have boss friends who keep their nails long, like, and they're good quality women. But I understand what you're saying. Typically, yes, some of them are, some of them aren't. But like, I don't know if I would say being married also means that that's like the standard of like you a good woman. But I don't know. I just feel like.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry,
I don't know.
Hey,
I don't.
Hearing it from the horse's mouth, you choose to receive if you want, but like that's facts, man.
I'll just put it like this.
I feel like that depends on the guy.
I'm a tax attorney. I have to give clients. I could absolutely tell them, "Hey, you could do this, but there's only a 6% chance it'll work." I can do that, and pretty much I'm gonna get sued for malpractice. Or I can tell them the thing that works 95%. I wouldn't say 95, but at least 80% of the time. And that's what is going to happen generally. It's 80% of the time. And I think women also have to remember for whatever type of man you want, regardless of profession or a style or personality or religious belief, you are his female representative and he is your male representative.
I agree with that.
So
I completely.
Sorry.
No, I kind of cut you off, but no, I think someone in the comments, Alice said you're looking for a professional looking woman, which is fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. I think that I know guys who are grinding, they're doing it, they're good men, but they want like a stylish, trendy woman. Like they want her to know how to dress. Like I think that to me that seems like a preference. I don't think that's like a wife. Yeah, like dress, because I'm like, honestly, what you're explaining, I'm more probably leaning towards what you are. Like I like more classic looks, but I don't think that you have to have classic looks to get wifed up.
But
I think
sorry, my bad.
I don't know. That's just me. I feel like I know guys who like the like, I'm in a sorority, so I have line sisters, and they're not like, the long nails are long, lashes are thick, and they don't have no problem getting a man, quality men. That's just what I've seen. And I've seen men who like that. So I don't know. I think it just depends. I think it's a preference. I don't know if I'm not going to say that's the standard, but that's just me. Like,
and I want to be clear. I didn't say anything about dress. I talked about nails and eyelashes and hair. That's not really dress. I get what you're saying about trendy, but that's not really dress.
I think that's more so trendy though. Because there was a time when like stiletto nails were it. Now they're kind of going back to being more square shaped, but they're long. It's just like, I don't know. I mean, I get it. If you don't like it, you don't like it.
I don't know. I ain't seen too many Cardi B's walking down the aisle. I don't know.
Right. So hold on. Right now, let me step in because Natalie has patiently waited.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We're gonna put a pin.
So
put a pin in this for a second. We're gonna put a pin in this. Let's come back over to Natalie.
I had a question about the natural hair, but come back.
We will come back to it. I got a few things start. Let's go back to Natalie though.
Well, I was listening. I think that's an interesting discussion. My question was about what you do for a living on your dating app. Like, how much should you put of your professional information? Because for me, when I've been on the apps, I've never liked to put like, I've written a book, I'm an author, I like to write. But I also feel like writing is so closely intertwined to who I am, not just what I do. Like, what do you recommend for how much professional information women put on their profiles?
Dojo.
I'm so sorry. I heard the question. I was just someone at me in the comments. I would say I think your job is fine and your accomplishments are fine. And this is where I think some bozos get it wrong. A woman's job and profession absolutely matters. It absolutely matters. And that's why you see so many guys, basically they start crying about how women are just gold diggers and they just want to take because they listen to some bozo's advice saying her job don't matter. It's not that you can't put your accomplishments. I want to know what you're proud of. I want to know what matters to you. So the way you're describing it, I would absolutely like to see that because that gives me an easy and hey, you're a writer. Cool. What's your, tell me about your book or what inspired you to write your book? Or, I mean, it's above me. You can't see it, but I have pretty much 20 books above me. I'm a reader. We can talk about that. That's great. The only issue comes to play, which I don't know, to what extent this happens, is when a woman tries to advertise her career as a selling point. That's the only time I see this coming as an issue. But I see nothing wrong with you actually, tell me about you. That's what we're here for. I want to know about you. Okay. If you're a writer, clearly, if I wanted kids, I would like for my kids to be able to read and write.
That's true.
Nah, that's good. Natalie, did you have any other questions? I'm being fair here. You sure?
Nope. Appreciate it.
Okay. I'm going to save that whole debate about nails and stuff. If the panel is free, once we wrap up, then we can dive back into it. But for now, we'll push along. But Tatianah, did you have another question to ask Black Belt with regards to what should be included on the profile?
No, but if I have something, I'll ask. Not right now.
Not a problem. So Black Belt, what should be excluded? So you talked about some of the things that they should put on there. What do you think are the things that should be avoided?
I guess I could flip some of those things around as a not to do. For example, don't only have one picture. But I would say what not to do. The only way I could really see this going wrong is not fully diving into the process of your descriptive profile, because that's your time to get out information. And again, I'm not saying to write a dissertation, but
yeah, that kind of goes back to this comment where Ayla said, okay, but some people's bios are too long, so clearly you don't want to be reading on and on and on, right?
Right. And like I said, I definitely don't mean that, but okay, I'll play. What don't do? Don't put something that you can't back up. Prime example. I've had, you'd be amazed. There'll be women say, oh, what's a secret skill? Oh, I speak a certain language. I was like, really now? All right. I'm big on languages. So we'll start talking and eventually I'll just throw out something in that language. Because I'm conversing in 3 different languages. So I'll say something in the language. And they'll say, wait, what did you say? I'm like, all right, bet. This is a no-go. This is a no-go.
Yo, got him.
Yeah, and I would say what not to do. This isn't really on the specific profile, but what I would say in the general conversing of the matter, this can be either in the dating profile or in the text or in person. Do not be shy with what you want in terms of the tangibles. Be clear on what you want and what you're expecting from the man. Tatianah, I don't know if you're on that last live where I asked about tangibles. Or okay. And what I mean by that, again, I'm not saying you have to specifically say, all right, well, how much you make? I need to see a W-2. I'm not talking about that. But that's part of it, but I'm not saying you got to do that. But if you want a man who's financially responsible, for example, ask the direct question of, hey, this is something I like to do. Hey, if you want $10,000, something that's not life-changing money, but it's something that everyone can do something with. Bill Gates ain't going to turn down free $10,000. What would you do with it? That'll give you answers right there where his mindset is, what he's trying to do. You want a man who's driven, he's got purpose. Cool. Where do you see yourself? Because all men should have this. I don't care how old he is. Where do you see yourself in a year, 3 years, 5 years? And here's the follow-up question for the 3 to 5 year plan. Okay, ask them questions. If they say, for example, oh, I want to own real estate property. Cool. Ask them, okay, so what have you done to push yourself towards that? Because obviously he may not have the money to buy the real estate, but if he don't even own any real estate books, he's scamming, he finessing, he bull jobbing. Because books even the books aren't free. YouTube's damn free. He just finessing you. And if he's not finessing you, at best, he's giving you pipe dreams. And as we all know, the majority of women have had lifelong dreams and aspirations burn to charcoal because of pipe dreams men sold them.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I want to give a shout out for Christine joining us. She says, hi,
Yes.
Krista.
Hey, girl.
And there was somebody else who joined us. Let me scroll up so I can give them a shout out because I don't think I did. Where is it? Oh, man, there's been so many comments. Oh, here it is. Tameen, we appreciate you for joining us. Thank you so much for tapping into the stream tonight. We appreciate that. And then this was one that came up as well, Black Belt, is suspense. Is that a favorable thing? Do you like a woman that has a little suspense added to her profile?
Yeah, I don't want your biography because I ain't gonna read it. Yeah, give me something interesting. Like I said, prime example. She's a writer. Give me something I can build off of to go forward with this. Or if you do know some languages, all right, cool. Even if I don't speak the same language as you, this is something we can discuss. It's like, oh, well, I pretty much only date black. Well, not pretty much. I only date black women. So I was like, okay, cool. What made you want to learn Swahili? Or what made you want to learn whatever language? I could tell them what made me learn my language. Or just all types of things. Yeah, leave suspense because you got to draw me in. Unfortunately, this is true and false. All women are not beautiful. That's something that's just been told too much. All women are not beautiful. There are limits to this. But here is the problem, though, that women have not realized. There is an overabundance of highly attractive women. So when you're not interested in pulling me in, there are at least 10 other attractive women that probably are a little bit more interesting. And that is something that women have to realize. You got to be interesting. Being pretty is not enough.
Can I ask a quick follow-up question?
Absolutely.
How are we defining beauty? Or how are you defining beauty?
All right. I knew I shouldn't have said
No, be about it. You said that was a bold statement.
This is just true.
And I'm not offended. I'm just curious. Well, I think there's a difference
handsome.
between fine and handsome, yes. Or even I think beautiful, though. I'm curious about that word beautiful, what that means to you.
What does beautiful mean? Beautiful.
Or how do you define it?
I would say beautiful is essentially from anyone who doesn't have a can I use COON on this platform?
Go for it, man.
as long as no one has an anti-black or a coon mindset. If a black woman walks in the room and universally she is acknowledged as, oh, she is cream of the crop, that's beautiful. Regardless of whether you even want to date black women, when you see her walk in all races and no coons can try to like, oh, well, I don't like black lips. If they all can acknowledge that's a beautiful woman, that is a universal beauty standard.
So is beauty determined by the collective experience or the collective mindset? Yes.
I cannot claim myself to be a quote unquote successful man if no one else sees me as successful. I can't say, oh, I'm one of the most important people here if no one will return my calls. The reason why that matters is because fair. we live in the world amongst each other. I'm not saying you have to. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm not saying necessarily that you need to take everything everyone says at heart. Mm-hmm. But what I am saying is this: if I feel like, hey, black belt, you're easily one of the top tax attorneys in the country. but only my mom, my sister, my grandma, and maybe my 5 best friends think that. It's false.
I guess I'm curious about this though, because with that example, the numbers don't lie. You know, we could look at your reports and say, hey, you did better than the average in this way. So, regardless of what everybody else thinks, the numbers prove it. And I'm open to learning here. That's why I'm asking.
No
But
problem.
I think from the perspective of a Black woman, there was a time not that long ago, especially in the United States, speaking here, where Black beauty was not the celebrated norm largely in terms of representation in many different industries. And so I feel like I wonder if we were going with that approach, there'd be a time where people would say, okay, then Black women are not considered beautiful because that wasn't the celebrated standard of beauty in many circles. Not all, but many.
And I definitely get what you're saying. And I do understand that from that historical context, there is some colorism to that discussion as well. I definitely get that. That is specifically why I wanted to highlight we're talking about people who are not anti-Black. Because you're right. That whole propaganda is primarily pushed for people who are anti-Black. For people who aren't anti-Black and people who aren't basically cooning and bojangling. And they just want white women. Or whatever women. That's why I'm saying for that group of people who can just be objective, whether they want to even date a Black woman or not, they can just be objective about beauty. Because okay, you're right. For a tax attorney, we can measure that. If I just walk in a room and we just say, all right, who here got the best beard out of me and 100 different men? I can think what I want. My beard connects. It's thick. It's full. I even got some gray hairs because my job's stressful as hell. I got it all going. If all the women in here be like, Black belt, you looking like you ain't the worst, but you ain't better than like 95th. I mean, it is what it is. And I think this is something where Immanuel can attest to this. When boys, we're quickly evaluated in kindergarten when it comes to the kickball game of who gets picked last.
Right.
We all ain't equal there. We all not equal. Someone getting picked last and someone's going to be clearly shown, I don't want him on my team.
Facts.
And I'm not saying that means that we have ugly women. I don't think there are women who are ugly, but there are levels to everything in life. Some people are rich, some people are poor, some people are useful, others are not useful. Maybe that's do their own decisions or not, but we all have a grading scale. That's all I'm saying.
So can I sum this up? Like, are you basically saying like how close to the standard of beauty do you sit? Is that pretty much what you're saying?
Sorry, say it again.
Like, how close do you sit to the standard of beauty?
What
is that pretty much what you're saying?
You mean like that's my main point?
Yeah, like that's just your idea of attractive, right?
My main point. Well, my main point
was not attractive.
Well, I mean, my main point, I guess, to the question of what is the standard of beauty is whatever the general population considers beautiful. But what I'm saying to like my actual point about why I brought up every woman's not beautiful, what I meant in that aspect is there are an overabundance of highly attractive women in the world. At least in my eyes, I come across more women who are at least cute to pretty than not. So you being uninteresting is not good. Like that's not going to work on a dating app. If you're being boring, if you're not trying to put yourself out there, if you're just being bland in your description. That was my main point.
Yeah.
Because even if you are pretty,
it's just so raw. It's just.
I don't get it. Because I mean,
no, I come across a cute to pretty on every day. Like, oh my gosh.
I mean, but get the point.
I also like
it kind of goes back to that,
I mean,
that bell curve again to a certain extent, right? Where I would say the majority in this case are people who are attractive. Like that doesn't mean that, you talking about a 10 or a 9, right? But the majority of people fall in that category of people that you will be attracted to. And then to his point, there are going to be some other people that's on the other side of that bell curve that to the general consensus of the mass populace, people would say like, they not it. And it's no disrespect, but like, it's just being objective. That's what it is. And it applies both to men and women, to be fair.
A face only a mother can love.
I don't disagree. It was just that he said it so like bluntly. I was like, oh, I didn't expect that. But also I think like so there's a difference between like being attractive and being beautiful, right? Would you agree with that?
I think we talking semantics now to a certain extent.
Okay, because I feel like an
No, I don't know.
attract
Dojo may disagree with me. Ask him the question.
What were the
again.
2 words?
attractive versus beautiful, because
I
like
agree with that, Krista.
I feel like a man can be attractive and not like gorgeous or handsome. Like that's
Well, yeah. Yeah.
okay. I
I
was just
do agree there's some this is slightly semantics, but yes, being beautiful or being handsome is a higher level than just attractive.
right. I love how Jay got this quote up.
Yeah.
Or this
I don't get it. I mean, you're
No, I just maybe I just do it more in my head. So when you're saying it out loud, I'm like, ooh, like, you know.
Yo, but yo, that was good. That was good right there. Hold on. I think let's see. Were there any comments that stood out? I think we kind of fleshed through a lot of it. So with that being said, we'll kind of take this
Can I
moment
add
to
one
pause.
thing? Ooh,
And,
sorry.
hold on. What's that?
I was just gonna add one thing, just in
Yes.
back to the profile conversation. Like, if you're funny, I make that known. Like, make a little joke. Don't do the most, but like something, I don't know, like something funny. I think that's a lot light, and I think that makes you seem likable. I think everyone appreciates a little humor, so I would say to like include that, like make your humor known.
No, that's good. I appreciate you for sharing that. And we're going to take this moment to give you the center floor, Krista. Definitely let them know about your
Yes.
podcast, how they can check you out and support you.
Yes. Yeah. So I have a podcast with one of my best friends, and it is called 20 Something and Living. We're actually going on like about 6 years, so it's been going for a minute. And it's funny that we're actually talking about this. I was pulling up. We had an episode called, I think it's probably a year old, but it was called Tinder, Soul Swipe, Bumble, and OkCupid. The Manhunt is real. And so just give you an idea, like we always talk about entertainment, then we get into hot topics related to just being in your 20s. And then we always finish it off with some type of gospiration, some type of small godly word. So yeah, check it out. And yes, my girl Nikki did say, I did acknowledge, I basically said everything that Dojo said, but I said it a lot. I think I said it a little more sugar. So in one of my most recent episodes. So it's I appreciate you for bringing that up. So check it out. The new episode.
Most definitely, yeah. Queen of King said she will check it out.
Yes,
And
girl.
once again, the link I just dropped in the chat for you guys to check it out. There's also a link in the description wherever you're watching on YouTube. So feel free to open up a new tab and subscribe. And the other thing is, wanted to give center floor to Tatianah to let you guys know about her custom frame. So by all means, Tatianah, let the people know.
Yes, we're on our way to Valentine's Day, guys. So it's not too late to get your Valentine, Palantine, or Galentine. It's a thing. Something to remember your friendship, your relationship with the Notes by Tatianah frames. So I use fabric to cover the frames, and I also do custom orders too. So we're expanding our variety of options. We have African styles, we have contemporary styles, we have characters like Mickey Minnie, we have Spider-Man, we have Avengers. It's growing. So if you want to check it out, I'm on Etsy. So the name of the store is called Notes by Tatianah. So not only do I have frames on there, but I have frame mats that go inside frames in case you want to coordinate or do something artistic with your art, with your gallery wall. I also have some portraits on there with fabric on them and greeting cards. So check it out.
Fantastic. We appreciate you for sharing that, Tatianah. There will be a link in the description as well. And I dropped a link in the chat for you guys to check it out too. So one other thing that I definitely wanted to let you guys know about is how you can support our live stream. It's definitely appreciated. So give me 1 second while I pull this up. So if you go to Right to Real Love, that's okay, there it goes. If you go to righttoreallove.com/support, it'll take you to this coffee page. It gives you the opportunity to leave a one-time donation, or you can even choose to join one of our membership programs. It'll give you instant access to some of our exclusive videos. Just to give you an idea, we got how women can get out of friend zone. We got a discussion on what women need to know about introverted men. And we got a gang of discussion for those of you who are interested in starting your own business. So if you want to support, as you can see, I'm using these funds right here to help with social media, because everybody, if y'all know me, My weak point is Instagram. My branding coach said, you got to get on Instagram. All my people tell me, you need to be on Instagram. And I'm like, I have no clue how to do this Instagram thing. And I want to hire somebody to do this work for me. So with your support, we'll be able to do that. That's what these funds are going for each month. If we can get $500, I think that that'll give us more than enough to be able to be on Instagram, build up our community, and it's a way for you to support our community. So just wanted to share that with you guys before we get into our last question of the night, which is going to be another good one. So here it is. We're going to close the show out with this question. How can women increase their success in online dating? What does that look like? Coming over to Natalie.
Well, from my friends that have had great success on dating apps, I think you just have to invest in the process. I think, Krista, you were saying earlier that, you've heard you need to be on there for 3 months or something like that. I agree. I think that to really have success, you got to invest some time and go on the dates. Like I said earlier, go on some bad dates so you can get to the good dates. But the success stories that I've heard from my friends has been people who took the time and they really kept up with it.
That's good. That's good. Coming over to you, Tatianah. What do you think women can do to increase their success online dating?
Have an idea of how you want to communicate to men. I think sometimes as women, we kind of think that we can talk to guys like we talk to our girlfriends, but there's an art to communication. There's a way you communicate to men and a way that men communicate to women. So get some of those soft skills developed. If you feel like you're not confident enough to even shoot your shot, like just be prepared to do that just in case. One dating coach that I follow on Instagram is called Torah Sense. So she has some like posts that challenge women to consider how they approach online dating. And one of them is to have good quality questions that aren't like the vetting questions, more so the conversational questions, because we don't want to be dry in these conversations that we have with these people, either if we're texting them through the app or if we're on the phone with them. She's saying if you have good questions that draw that man in, you get to know more of him. You're not just asking yes or no, one word answer questions. You're asking some thought-provoking ones. So I would recommend checking out her page. Yeah, I see. Tamian, or sorry if I mispronounced your name. Sister Elder said that too. Yeah, so I would check out her content.
All right, good stuff. Coming over to my man, Black Belt. How can the women increase their successes online dating?
I would say be intentional. Just be intentional, be purposeful, and do not, don't quit if it doesn't go your way after like 3 weeks. There's nothing really you can get done or accomplish that you actually want in a 3-week span. You got to give it a real chance. And I know this wasn't a question, but I actually would love to hear from the ladies on this topic. What is doing too much? Because I actually would tell the ladies, don't think about, am I doing too much? Just do. And just put your effort out. But I would love to hear what the ladies consider doing too much is. Maybe tonight or at one point in time. So I do hear that often, though. You don't want to be doing too much. So I'm just curious.
I feel like doing too much is like trying to sell yourself. Like, you don't need to be on there. Like how you said the job thing. Like some people, like you literally give like a thick synopsis of yourself and you just trying to make yourself sound so good. And it's like, you don't have to do all that. Like, just love yourself, and he eventually will love you too. Like, I think. That's like, I hope. So, yeah, I feel like that's doing too much. You just like, you're trying to sell yourself. I think you just have to be okay with rejection when you get on a dating app. And if you're okay with rejection, you won't do the most.
Like Allah or Ayla says, just be yourself, to a certain extent. But Natalie, what's your take on Black Belt's question?
I think that's a good question because I do think there's going to be a difference in how a woman defines doing too much versus a man saying that. So I think it's interesting that you said you don't think there's such a thing as doing too much. I think for me, doing too much is too many thirst traps. Like, maybe you can tease the people if you want, but like not even just dating apps, but if I'm on like Instagram or something and every other day someone's posting a thirst trap from their time in Cancun, it's like, okay, sis, calm down. That's how I define doing too much.
Nah, that's fair. Tatiana, what's your take?
Okay, I need to hear the question again because I had a connection issue, so I think I
No
missed
worries.
what you said.
Black Belt, you mind repeating the question?
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to clarify. I do think there is a point at doing too much. I definitely think putting up booty pics is definitely couldn't be considered doing too much. But my question was, what do women in general consider doing too much? And I asked that because I often do hear women say, "Oh, girl, make sure you ain't doing too much." And I'm always curious what that is, just from because a guy's standpoint. For at least most things, definitely, like I said, putting up booty pics is another level. But in general, I don't think guys see what women think doing too much is as the same thing, if that makes sense.
The first thing that came to mind was like they're pressing the issue to date that person too much. Like they're being too pushy about it. Like, when are you gonna take me out? Stuff like that. That's what came off to me is like doing too much.
Nah, that's fair. Any other questions for the ladies, Dojo?
No, that makes perfect sense though. I could definitely agree with what everyone's saying.
Okay.
I'll ask you on a date, don't ask me out. Like you said, you don't need to sell me and put your autobiography in my message box. And I mean, don't ban me. I'll see it in person. I don't need to, get no booty pics from your online. So I agree with all what you're saying.
But I thought you wanted all angles.
All angles meant okay. All angles.
Somebody you stuck a pin in that. Was like, I'm coming down, circling back.
That was a direct quote.
That is a direct quote. I'm not denying that.
Okay. All angles can include clothing pics, though.
Okay.
Well, but that's a great point. That's a great point. All angles just means essentially don't try to give me just face shots. That's what that means.
Okay, so a body picture,
a body shot,
yes,
is necessary.
Absolutely necessary.
Okay.
Absolutely necessary. Because the thing is, if you don't do it, I'm going to assume the absolute worst that I'm dealing with 600-pound life. I'm telling.
This is the sugar.
Am I wrong?
Where's your sugar?
No. I was with you. Like I'm not gonna assume the best, but I'm not necessarily gonna go all the way to like the 600-pounder. But yeah, I agree. I think that you do need to have both a face of your face. A picture of your face and your entire body. Like a recent photo too, right? Going back to something that was put in the chat before. Like don't try to do like JD Clay was saying people was doing, giving you pictures from 5-10 years ago. Like we want to know what you look like in the present. So yeah.
Post-COVID, not pre-COVID, because we all had some changes.
Girl, just drag me.
I want to be.
Me too, girl.
Can I explain why that's important real fast? If that's
of course,
with
bro.
Everyone. The reason why the reason why the full body pic matters is not just because of catfishing and whatnot. To guys, that automatically is indicating some insecurity issues that I'm gonna have to deal with if I move forward with you. At least that, whether that's true or not, that's what we're taking this as at the bare minimum. And yeah, I do agree. If you look on social media, you'll think every guy's with, they're only dating women who have like fitness model physiques. That's false. Guys have a complete range of what we're into. And women are much more harsh with each other and individually.
Facts.
With what they think we'll accept. I won't even say accept. Accept's the wrong word. Of what we're attracted to than what it actually is.
That's facts, bro.
Like that.
Ooh, that just blessed me. Thank you.
So are you saying if you only see face shots on dating apps, you're saying you automatically think she has an insecurity? Or when you see the body shot, you can tell what type of insecurity you think she's going to have?
Okay, great question. I was saying if I only see a headshot, I'm going to assume that you already have insecurities about your body.
Gotcha.
Now, it could be completely wrong. You could have you could have quote unquote a great physique, but even still, with just the headshot, I'm going to assume there's something psychologically that she's not happy with. Or at least at a bare minimum, she doesn't want to show unless she absolutely has to.
Yeah. And Dojo, here's a question that I want to pose to the ladies. Are y'all okay with a guy that doesn't give you a full body shot, like you just see his face, or do you want to see his entire physique as well? Nobody jumping on that one, huh?
No,
like,
you definitely do.
Was I muted?
You hear about girls who do that, like they take pictures like and they're like looking up so they look the slimmest possible, and then like, you know, they'll go on a date and the guy be like, whoa, you know. And I mean, I'm a nice person, so I probably would be on that date and act like I didn't have any problem with it, but I would go home like, now you know he lied. But I feel like there's nothing, I can't fault someone for being upset with that, because you kind of presented a false version of yourself. So I don't think people should do that. I think you should post what you look like. And that's what I was actually going to say. Girls, make sure like your face, like I don't wear like a whole lot of makeup. So, but I have pictures where I have my face really done. It would be dumb to post pictures of me where my face is done, and most of the time I look like this. So I would say that too. Like, make sure you don't do the most with your makeup.
No, that's real. That's real. But my direct question is, do you want to see just a man's face? Is that just enough? Or do you want to see his face and his entire body? Like, direct question, face and body, or just the face?
I want to see the full body, but, and correct me if I'm wrong, ladies, I feel like we tend to focus more on the height. And so a lot of times, even seeing the full body, I don't know what your height is. So that's why I like when guys have on their profile how tall they are. Not that that's a determining factor of whether we're going to work or not, but when I show up, I just like to know what I'm working with.
Yes, Natalie, that was it. That height is essential.
All right, coming over to you.
Wait. Is it essential, or is it not going to determine anything?
It's a preference, but it's not.
I think I'm a little ignorant in that category. I'm 5'2", so I have no reason to need.
Oh yeah,
but
I'm 5'10".
But if his profile says 5'6", I'm gonna be like, ooh.
Wait, Natalie, you're 5'10". Are you okay with dating a guy who's 5'7"?
Like I said, it's a preference. It's a preference. It's not because so I didn't say this at the beginning. I'm 27 years old, single. I've had to learn.
Like, I love the way y'all putting it tonight.
I've had to learn that my height preference cannot lead me in the dating field, or I will be single for a while. So 5'7" is not a deal breaker, but in my prayers to God, I have, 5'10" or above would be nice, but it's not a deal breaker.
Oh, sis, I'm gonna be praying. You gonna get you a 5'10" and above. 5'7" and you got heels on? Woo.
Right. That kind of takes away heels. I mean, I don't wear heels that much anyways, but it kind of takes away the option. Not necessarily, but for me, I just wouldn't feel as comfortable with it.
Yeah.
And I think,
sorry,
last thing. I think that when it comes to height, especially like for a tall girl, you have to be confident in yourself, and the guy also has to be confident in himself when it comes to those things. If either one is off balance, I think it just makes for an awkward and uncomfortable partnership.
Nah, that's real. So quick few comments that came in. Let me show some love in the chat. I had brought some of them up. So yeah, Tanisha says, I want to see the full body pics too. V Sanchez says recent pics too. Tanisha says height is a preference for her, but if he is shorter than 5'5", she just cannot because of her height. And Ayla says, me too. I'm 5'1", so you can't be shorter than me. So that's what the ladies are saying about that. But I want to go back to the original question that I posed. Coming up to Tatiana, are you okay with just seeing his face, or do you want to see the face and the body too?
No, I want to see the full body too. Yeah, I think it's fair.
That's right.
I think when women ask guys if they want to see the full body, it's like, are they emphasizing that portion of the profile versus all the other qualities she put in her profile?
Yes.
Oh my God.
I mean, I'm not saying
initially, yeah. Like, I mean, come on. We got to be honest here. Initially, yes.
I appreciate the honesty.
Really? I do appreciate the honesty.
No, because we're talking about initially.
Right, initially.
I just did not. I thought you'd be like, no, it doesn't. I mean, it's equally as important. I
No,
really
it's
thought
not.
you were gonna say
It's
that.
not equally important. It
If
is
I'm not attractive to you, I'll wait till she comes back before me finish this.
Oh, dang.
But yeah, no, that's
Nah, but it's not equally important. No, Natalie, by all means.
Well, I know you're gonna wait. You guys are gonna wait to answer, but I want to add in an additional question to this question.
Okay.
Is for you? Are you looking at face or body, or is both of it together in terms of what's drawing you?
Okay, so let me bring Tatianah back up, and then we'll address it. Okay.
Okay, and then you also have to answer my natural hair question.
Oh yes, and somebody's.
I have like, let me see. It's 13 comments about natural hair, nails. If y'all got the time, I got the time. So I got it start. But by
I got
all
time,
means,
cuz.
yo, I got time.
I mean,
so
I have time.
We'll stay with the man's perspective. If anybody got to hop off, just let me know. But
Okay,
we will stay to answer those questions. But So Black Belt, as you were about to say.
I was gonna say absolutely the looks matter initially because it doesn't matter what your profile says or anything. If I'm not attractive to you, this isn't gonna work. And that's the only thing I can give you credit for because again, other than your name, if you even used your full name or your real name, I don't know you. So that's the only thing I can go off of initially. And then from that point, it's all right, let's see what this is about. Jay, like if you disagree, if you agree, I'll just respond to Natalie's question.
Yeah, I agree. So by all means, man.
Okay.
Take it away. Yeah.
And Tatianah, Natalie asked us essentially, is it the face and body that, if I remember correctly, like which one matters more, or is it a combination of the two?
Mm-hmm.
I would say this. I'm being facetious because again, I don't really even think, and I don't think women even look like this, but you can't have the body of a goddess but the face of a gremlin. But
you know what?
I'm more inclined to be happy with a great body than just a great face. And I'm not really feeling the body because the reason why is because for the body, for myself, you give me your face is your face. That pretty much that's what it is. Your face is your face. But for your body, from just for Black Belt, I'm more attracted to the body. Just
so what? So if she had your average version of a body, but the face was gorgeous, would you work with that? I'm just trying to understand where you
average,
right? Because the body changes a lot.
A whole lot.
I mean,
he doesn't want kids. So.
He doesn't want kids. I thought that too.
I mean, I don't know. It depends on what depends on what average is. But I mean, like I said, she doesn't need to have
your version of average, whatever that looks like to you. But the face, stunning.
I'm gonna lean towards the body still because I don't know what.
Really
interesting.
Nah, that's a little wild. I'm a little surprised by that one. I feel like I feel like girls would be a little. I feel like I'm flipped. Like a really good looking face. That'll give me, especially if you got a nice beard.
I think women really emphasize teeth too. I think
that's true.
I think
some nice eyes.
Someone mentioned in the comments that we all had nice teeth. Thank you, sis, for that comment. Yeah, women, we don't underestimate the teeth thing. Whatever's going on in here, we need to know it's all good.
That is so
make sure y'all smile in your pictures on these dating profiles.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a very good one.
All right, y'all wait.
Tiffany said the body changes across the lifespan, Dojo.
Yeah,
body ain't gonna always be bad.
That's very subjective, and that's also that's a control variant. Yeah, your body change. Okay, we're just talking about Black Belt specifically,
right?
I don't want kids, so I mean, for what most women have to go through, they don't got to worry about that with their body if they're going to be with me. They don't have to worry about that aspect of that happening to their body. And we're not going to act like there aren't 60-year-old women who are, I'm not even saying you got to be fitness model, but there's 60-year-old women who are in shape. We're not going to act like every woman just at the age of 45, they just plump up to 400 pounds. That's not reality either.
No, it's not. It's not. Yo, so you got a clarifying question that came in from Katiwe. She says, body like waist to hip ratio, or just a woman who is slender? Curious about what you mean. They want all the details, Black
I'm
Belt.
not a doctor. I don't know nothing about anatomy, and you don't want me to pull up a black woman like a picture for you all, like.
But
I
also,
don't
like,
ratio.
remember that's just his preference. Also,
Mhm.
like,
Right.
he's not every man.
Mhm.
Yeah, we just talking about black belt right now. We just talking about black belt.
Right.
I don't want anyone to think I'm trying to speak for all black men.
Mhm.
I know we ran out of time, but I know we didn't get a chance to talk about the, I guess, the intersectionality of race on these dating apps, because there's studies that show that Black folks are not at the top of the food chain when it comes to attraction. But again, we have to consider the data and like the majority of people on the apps. And then at the same time, if you are open to dating outside of your race, I think that don't look at that as a discouraging point. Consider that there are people who may not be the same whatever nationality, race as you, who will be interested in dating you. So just because some numbers say that doesn't mean like there's nobody out there who wouldn't want to date you, and vice versa.
Yo, that's real. That's real. Y'all saw the comment that came in from Nikki. She says, Black Belt, my
Yes.
husband is agreeing with you 100%.
Hey,
Yeah, so am I
Marcus.
over here. And she says, number one rule of dating, you must be attracted to one another. That
Yeah.
is facts.
I
That's
think you need
facts.
to have my friend Nikki on here because she been
Yo.
hitting on my week.
Nikki, come on the show.
Ooh,
Nikki's husband. Y'all both welcome to come on the show.
Oh my gosh,
I'm all for it.
oh my gosh, yes, both.
I'm all for it. Yeah, V says she's agreeing. So okay. Any other questions before we?
I had the
get back-
natural hair question.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Before we dive into that and a lot of those other questions that are pretty loaded, I'm gonna just
Okay.
come around. I'm gonna come around the room and get everybody's last or closing words when it
Okay.
comes to like online dating. So let's do this. So Natalie, what's your last or closing words that you want to share with regards to online dating, the do's and the don'ts?
I don't know if I have a closing statement, but I will say I'm very encouraged by this conversation because I've been someone, my sister was in the chat. She's been trying to get me back on a profile for a while now. And I feel like this conversation has been good and enlightening and encouraging for me. So
That's wonderful. Krista, coming over to you. What are your last closing thoughts or words?
I'm just like Natalie. It's funny. I was with my friend over the weekend, and a guy from college who I was friends with, and I met his girlfriend. And they met on Hinge, and then I came home like I'm gonna download Hinge, and then today I was like I'm done. Like, and that was literally Sunday, so it's Tuesday. But y'all have encouraged me. I'm gonna stay on it. Like
You got to give it more time, sis.
I just don't. It just gives me anxiety a little bit sometimes. Like I'm just like. Even like Natalie said, making the profile, I was like, I have to find pictures. And then I'm like, Dojo's like, you got to have a picture of your body. And I'm like, okay, it's just, it's just stressful. So, but no, I am encouraged. I'm really encouraged. I'm trying to think. There was a question that you were asking us that before Dojo started asking us questions. And there was something I wanted to hit on, but I can't remember.
The only question that I think I posed was like the headshot or the headshot in the body question.
No, it was even before that.
There was something else. She's right. I forgot.
We all didn't answer, and I can't
remember. I don't remember, man. I'm gonna go.
Dang. Well, I would just say, okay, so just to give you guys YouTuber, Ashley Empowers. If you're like genuinely like never ever done online dating, that shocks me. I don't know why, but like, you know what? Get out there, try it. But Ashley Empowers does like. She addresses like how to set up your profile. And if you just Google her YouTube, I was trying to find the exact video, but I couldn't find it. But if you look up her YouTube and type in Ashley Empowers online dating, like she has a couple of good things on there. And I would highly recommend her. She like tells you how to just, get your online profile on and popping. But also don't fall for those thirst traps. That's all I was going to say. That's my last thing. Don't fall for those, hey girl, you so fine. No, that brother.
Yeah, that's a whole nother topic. But yeah, I'll make sure that I find that video from Ashley Empowers. I'll include it in the description for the replay so you guys can go back and check it out. Tatianah, coming over to you. Any last or closing words about the do's and don'ts of online dating?
Yeah, we didn't even get into the question. It was a point, but it wasn't a question. But I'll just throw it out there. Like, do you think it's important to, I guess, Google or do a background check on someone you're dating online? I was bringing that up because I've seen other people recommend like sites like Been Verified and stuff like that. So it depends on the person. I think you should always practice safety whether you're dating online or in person. But yeah, it helps to fact check certain things, especially if you want to get serious with someone. But as far as like the online dating thing, overall, just be committed and consistent so you can see some results and make notes. Tweak your profile every month, add something new to it, switch the pictures up because you never know. That red shirt outfit might be the one. That blue shirt, maybe not. Who knows? Switch it up. Don't be afraid to have fun with your profile and add some open-ended questions to it to engage people to engage with you in the DMs.
No, that's good and great point because color psychology is a real thing. So yeah, it definitely plays a role for sure. And you already know, last but definitely not least, my man Dojo. What are some closing words before we get into this lightning round, I guess we can call it?
Closing words is the do's and don'ts. Do is just do it. Just don't go out there. Like so you got really nothing to lose. Don't, we all talked about, don't only give face pics. And like be intentional.
I hear that. And on that note, Natalie, Tatianah, Krista, Black Belt, all of y'all good to continue with these okay. All right, here we go, y'all.
I might be eating a snack, but yes.
Yeah. Go get your water, go get a snack. I mean, by all means.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, by all means, get comfortable. So let's see, where should we start? Okay. So we had this comment that came in from Cynthia. She's never heard of a man saying they like long nails. I don't know any. No men in my friend circle that like them. I know plenty of men.
But will they tolerate them? I'm sure you had a guy friend.
Okay, so toleration is totally different from liking, and I will be the first one to admit that. You already know that, Krista. I'm all about context and definitions of words. You know me. But Black Belt has his hand up, so by all means, chime in, bro.
See, I'm so glad you brought me on. I'm so glad you brought me on because I want to give. I'm here to speak my truth, ladies. What a man tolerates is by no means an indication you're going to get any commitment from him. I will put it like this.
Say that again, though, Black Belt. I think somebody heard you way in the back, G.
All right, bet. What a man tolerates by no means equates to a commitment from him. Because I think we can all agree, women don't want to be tolerated. They want to get married. They want to be married.
But you're tolerating the nails, not the woman.
It's both. You're doing something that you clearly should be aware I don't like. So I'm tolerating both things. I'm tolerating your nails and I'm tolerating you're not even willing to do something small that I actually prefer. So it's one and the same thing. At least that's how guys look at it. And I'm gonna just be brutally frank. I may or may not have done this, but there are plenty of guys who have women as temp positions. She's here for a season because I can tolerate what she does for 3 to 4 months, but she's going to be out of here by summer. There are plenty of guys who do that.
I mean, I think girls do that too.
Yeah, I can definitely come alongside that, man. Like,
but here's the problem though. Mm-hmm. Well, not with you, Jay. But here's the thing: you said women do that too. But here's the thing: the topic is about women and nails and what they want. It ain't about the guys get like. No one cares if guys don't get the woman they want. No one cares. That's just whatever. I mean, no one cares. If Jay Immanuel or if I don't get the woman I've always dreamed of, oh well. The men are going to look at him and say, well, basically, tough luck, Negro. Try your best. Try again in the afterlife. That's what we're going to tell him. Women have social circles about, oh, girl, it's okay. You know, it's just the men, the men ain't this, or you just ain't been in the right spots. No. And this is he's my guy. If Jay Immanuel calls me in 5 years and says, I still ain't found the woman I want, I'm like, well, what you calling me for?
Right. That's exactly what a man is going to say.
I'm not a woman. I can't help you.
No sympathy, man. None at all.
and eventually, I'm trying to ultimately warn. I'm trying to give you the reality that there are plenty of men who can tolerate what women do that they don't like, Because they may actually still like you, but they know this isn't a long-term thing. And that's way more common than women, I think, realize.
I'm just not understanding the correlation to the nails. Like, I hear everything that you're saying. I just don't get.
Okay, I'll put it like this.
Like that body that he was telling you about, that he will put over that face, that will put over that nails. So you recognize from the jump that there's something that you do like, and it trumps that thing that you are not favorable of. And on top of that, you recognize that she's only going to be here for a temporary period of time. So it's a logical equation that's going on in the mind of that man, where it's just like, what can I put up with in the long term to get what I want in the short term, you know?
And if I had to put it like this, as a very straightforward, again, now this is just black belt's way of viewing this. If I'm gonna marry this woman, this means to me, I'm willing to, I mean, even if I don't marry her, if she's just a long-term girlfriend, I'm willing to risk my life for her. You know, I'm trying to upgrade her life to the highest level I can. If she's never been out to the country, she says, I want to go to Mexico, don't even worry about that. We're going to Mexico, we're going to Spain, we're going to Portugal, we're going to Colombia, we're going to all the Spanish-speaking countries you want to go to. Your dream car, that's my aspiration to bring to you. And you can't clip these damn nails?
See, okay, that's fine. So what you're saying, what I'm hearing is, no, this we can work with. I can work. So what you're saying is you'll put up with it for a while. But if it hits a point where it's like, I really don't like that, you're saying I have to find some compromise. That's fine. That's what you're saying, right? You're not going to not go on a first date with a girl because of her nails.
Well, actually, yeah, because if I see them in pictures, she's not getting matched with. But I'm
my gosh.
But I'm saying, like, if I found out, say, like, by date 3 or 4, I mean, we're dating. I have no right to tell her she should change it.
Okay, here we go. This is
now, if we're actually in a relationship, I would say, hey, I don't really like nails like that. Or I don't really like them, them tire tread eyelashes you be putting on. I mean, I'm gonna say it more. This is entertainment. I'm trying to be a little more entertaining.
Oh, okay.
I'm not gonna say it like that, but I'm gonna tell her, hey, I don't really like that. It's just not my thing. Do you mind not wearing that?
Yes. Okay. I feel.
If she continues to go through with it, I don't necessarily hold it against her that she's still going to do it. In terms of, I don't have a negative reaction to her, but I know this isn't for me long term. Then
I understand. So that's like a woman.
Hold on, Krista. Hold on. Let's pause for a second. Let me address a few comments that came in reference to what we're talking about before we get to another one. So, first one we had is, there's a stereotype that comes with long nails. Does she cook, clean, etc.? Tiffany says, as a woman concerned with hygiene, I've wondered, does she wear gloves when cooking to prevent things under the nails? I stopped wearing acrylic and false nails when they melted in a lab. Also, true, Tiffany, germs can live under the nails. And then what was that? Another one. Black belt isn't wrong for what he prefers. That's right, he isn't. And then somebody says hygiene shouldn't be an issue if you're dating someone who values hygiene. And yeah, so hold on, one more. The overly big eyelashes remind me of the eyelashes on the Volkswagen Beetle. So so Krista, by all means, take the floor again. I just wanted to point out some of the comments that were coming through.
No, I low-key lost my train of thought now. Dang. I don't remember. But no, I you're saying it's like, it's like a woman who likes a guy with a beard. Like, you kind of looking at him like, and he's like, I'm thinking I want to shave it. And then you're like, you really gonna shave it though? Like, and then you kind of tell him like, I really like it, and he keeps it. This is what you're saying. This is more down the line. But what you're saying is like, if her profile overall is appealing enough, you're gonna give it a chance. But then in time, you want to maybe have a conversation about the nails.
Oh no, if I see the nails off jump, this is a no-go. The nails.
Okay, let's say
made a commitment to you. Relatively.
Let's say that she didn't get her nails done the first date. They're just, and then you saw by like date 4, she had nails, but you kind of like her a little bit. You were saying you would continue to pursue that.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would pretty much. I would say, "Oh, I see you did something with your nails," and then she would say, "Yeah, you like them." No.
So can I ask you another? I feel like
No,
you picked the wrong day to bring me on here, Jay. Like,
I think you picked the perfect.
One more question, then we go push. So make it a good one, Krista, before we push.
So, because I remember I dated this guy. I was like 24, insecure, and I remember whenever my nails were painted, he'd be like, "Oh, your nails look good," and it made me so insecure. And he would like kind of emphasize like, "You should probably keep those nails painted." And I remember I had another boyfriend. He was like, if a guy wants your nails to be painted, he needs to be paying for that. And I was like, that is facts. Like, so do you agree with? He's like, no. Yes. Don't tell me my nails need to be painted and then you're not gonna pay for it. Yes.
I mean, if we're okay, well, first,
look at Jay's face.
This is a basic maintenance upkeep thing. Because if you think I should have my beard, I'm not going to tell you. Well, you should be paying for it to get lined up. You should pay for my moisturizer.
Right.
You should pay for my beard.
No.
Right.
You want me to have a nice hair? Like, come on,
not
man.
see like the beard balm I use? I got combs for this. Why ain't you? No, that's nonsense.
First of all, I'm the girl. Second of all,
true.
And second of all, it's like upkeeping nails is expensive. Like, if you want them like done in a certain fashion, I feel like you should pay for that. It's one thing if you're like, she could keep them clean. Like, if you're just like, just don't wear them at all. That's fine.
Different. That's different. Like, it's a difference between nails not being done versus him not liking the style when you get them done. Like, that's completely different. Yeah, like
I feel if he likes them short, but he likes them like done, I personally feel like he needs to pay for that. But that's just me. Like,
okay, that's fair. That's fair. So we gonna push. We're gonna push.
So
I'm gonna be fair. I'm gonna be fair. Christine had this question that came in to you, Black Belt. Long nails. If it brings your girl joy, wouldn't that make you happy?
No.
That's gonna be a negative for me.
What the hell?
No, not at all.
No,
I don't care. Your joy comes from nails.
That's my friend. Can't you tell?
So I just wanted to address that quickly for Christine. Like, we don't need to spend much more time on that one. That was quick.
They're like, am I not enough joy for you? No, cut the nails down.
Can I just say one thing, Jay, man?
By all means, man.
I just want to say two sentences. One, I think, Krista, I think partially why you're so shocked by these responses, and this is now I will say this is men's fault. This goes to the emotional and social part. This is men's fault. They're too scared to tell women exactly what they think and what they feel.
That right there.
And they can't say, and many can't say it without it coming across as either a personal attack or letting out some unnecessary like venom towards the women.
Right. See, we're being facetious here, right? To overemphasize the point. But by no means are we coming with this type of energy when letting a woman know that it's not something that we are favorable of. So I just want to be clear about that, right?
Yeah.
I really thought Dojo was coming with that energy. I promise you, I thought he was.
It's for the sake. This show is entertainment. we entertaining a little bit, right?
That's why I was thinking. I was like, I don't even know if I could be friends with him. He might hurt my feelings. Like, I was like,
and then and then the second thing is I would say, I'll come back to that. Go ahead, Jay. I'll come back to it.
Yeah, no doubt. So let's push. Here's the big one, man. Hair. So natural, do you mean natural real or natural locks and fro? They want the specifics.
Yes. I
want what some people call it, essentially the like I said, the anti-black and the coon community call. I want my black woman to have nappy-headed hair. I want it as black as possible, whether that's locks, whether that's a fro, I consider perms and straighteners, all that to still be natural hair. If I touch your head, I want to feel the hair that came out of your scalp. That's what I care about most.
Okay. So
sorry, go ahead.
Well, I'm just clarifying. So you're saying it doesn't matter if it's straightened, if it's curly, as long as it's your hair out of your scalp?
Yes. Okay. And I want to be clear. I'm not saying you can never wear extensions. I'm not now. We're not going to be walking around. Well, let me phrase. You can do what you want. You're not going to be walking around with me and you're tripping over them on your feet. That's not happening. They're not going to be that long. But if you want to grow locks and you want some extensions, I'm not going to trip out. Like, I'm not saying you can never do anything with your hair, but it needs to be something that I would see on a black woman and it's natural to a black woman.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting.
All right. That's real.
So I have a question.
Oh, I'm sorry. Low cut's fine too. Like the
I feel like you're rare because, like, as you can see, I'm natural. This is my real hair. But I have like fake, like sometimes I'll put in like extensions in it, or I'll even wear like wigs, and sometimes people can't tell which one is not my hair and which one is. But I noticed that I always get more attention when my hair is like in a twist out and it kind of like comes down a little. Like it doesn't, not the big hair. Y'all guys don't like that as much. Like they like the you know what I'm saying? Like a twist out and it kind of falls. They don't like the twist. And that's why I was going to ask you, like, because you're saying natural. And I'm like, do you really like natural? Like or do you, it sounds like you actually do. But I don't think most guys are like that. Maybe you have more perspective. I just know I get more attention when my hair falls down. Even like when my hair's in a bun. Like if it's more puffy, people be like, I don't get as much attention.
I kind of want to follow up with that because I kind of have a question about that as well, because I do feel like I will hear, especially Black men, say that they like women with their natural hair. But sometimes I feel like it's a certain version of natural hair. So even with the twist out, natural hair is very hard to keep up with. The twist out day 1 could look phenomenal. Day 3, it's looking so right. And I feel like sometimes people are saying that I like your natural hair when it looks perfect almost. But natural hair, it's very hard to keep it looking perfect, quote unquote, all the time. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I'm sorry. What was I heard everything you said, but it sounded like you ended in a statement instead of a question.
Well, I guess my question is, following up with Krista's question, is it really natural hair that you like, or do you like a woman's hair to be upkept and look a certain way?
Okay, I got you. I think, and okay, I got you what you and Krista are asking. I mean, I think if I'm going to be discussing rational, logical men, I think that we all understand. Well, at least they should, but we all understand that your hair's not going to look, 10 minutes after being done every day, every moment. I like I said, if I'm just dealing with rational minded gentlemen. And as far as some men liking the twist locks or some men liking the ponytail, I mean, that's up to the individual guys. That part I can't.
Like, just look at the media. Like when you see certain women that are like, their hair is natural, it's not like big and out. It's coming down. Does that make sense?
All I know is this. The Black people I actually know in real life, the Black men I know in real life, all but like 2, maybe 3 out of the hundreds I know, they're married to Black women, and pretty much all of them, they're blackety black. Now, however their hair looks, maybe it's in a pony. I mean, maybe it's in a bun, maybe it's straightened, maybe they're locks, maybe they're twists, maybe it's the low cut like Jada has right now. But pretty much across the board, they're, I don't want to say normal, but they're natural looking Black women that you would just see walking around in Africa, for example, or walking around in any African, I mean, mostly Black country. So, I mean, this is why I just say I want to be very clear in this. What we, like you said, in the media, that's why I keep asking, are these media women, are they actually married?
I don't know.
Because, and I only say that because a lot of the times, I'm not referring to you, just in general, a lot of women, they say, oh, well, this woman here on social media, this woman here on social media. It's, those women aren't actually getting any better options than you would think. They're not really getting that great of options. They may just be getting, if I may say, laid up on by richer guys. But most of them aren't actually getting any wedding rings.
Right.
They're not getting any long-term commitments. And I don't think any woman has any problem getting sex if that's what she wants. They're trying to get that lifelong commitment.
All right, so we had a comment that came in from Katiwe. It says, she's noticed that men have liked her more with wigs, braids, tapered, and now locked. She thinks that if you are a pretty woman who dresses nice, then they don't care. Non-Black men have seemed to respond the same. And I think there's some validity to what she said. Tiffany has this question. Do you men accept wigs for a temporary basis so neither of you have dyed or colored hair on a woman with a fro? So I guess what's your take on that, Black Belt, with the wig?
I mean, I don't like wigs at all, but I mean, I do understand that black women's hair is not the easiest thing to maintain. So, like I said, I don't like it, but I'll tolerate the wigs way before I tolerate those nails.
That right there.
So, I mean,
What
I
if
don't
she
like
takes it off
but,
at night and she like sits it on the stand and the hairs is cornrow back? You prefer that to the nails?
but here's the thing, though. I wouldn't want that wig thing to be a normal thing because is it an emergency cause or is this just a cop out?
Oh my god!
I mean, that's just how I feel. I prefer a woman. Like I said, it doesn't have to. To me, it doesn't have to always look like it's just done. So I understand the twist. The locks aren't going to look the same on day 7. I get that. I got no issues with that. Cool, whatever. Okay, now people are talking about.
Just be careful with the natural hair conversations when you're engaging women.
I don't.
Yeah, they trying to bring all the smoke, Dojo.
The health issues. I don't. I mean, I don't have a beef with individuals who have alopecia or cancer. If that's what she's asking. I don't have anything against them.
Yeah, it's like nobody can do anything about like if it's a health condition. Like I think that's clearly a totally different type of situation.
Oh, the dyed hair, no. Dyed hair, no.
Yeah. Okay.
She said, "Would you date her?"
I mean, what is the health issues? I guess I'm gonna be real. I mean, what are the health? If she had, if I meet her and she has cancer, I don't know. That honestly have to be something I really evaluate.
Yeah,
we're talking
that's different, man.
Yeah, we're talking about she just has alopecia. She can't grow hair. I mean,
so you would date her?
I wouldn't cut her. I wouldn't cut her loose because of that. I mean, I can't say I guarantee it, but that would be a deal breaker.
I'm just seeing how low these nails are in your head, and it's blowing my mind. But because
to me, the nails indicate a clear. You gonna make me say this?
Just say it.
To me, the nails clearly indicate. Okay, we talking about cancer. That's a whole nother thing. Sorry, I just saw the comment. All right, I'm gonna be real. The nails to me indicate a way of life and a way of thinking that I don't want nothing to do with. I can't bring you to, my law firm gatherings. I can't bring you to these 5-star restaurants and your nails are long enough to be confused as, one of the shellfish or one of the shrimp on the table. That's not how I can't do that. You represent me just because I represent you.
I mean, I just totally don't agree with that. So I don't even got nothing to say to that one.
Okay. All right. So we're going to push on that note. So Queen of Kings had this comment. Well, I believe you should know how to cater to your audience, the type of man you want. Yeah. And that's a really good point, right? If you know that there's something that the type of man you want does or doesn't like, I think that should be taken into consideration. Whether or not you actually conform with that, that's going to always be your choice. But to the point that I think she's making, I think you should consider that for sure. So, and she even had this follow-up question. You want the nails more than you want the man? That is an excellent question. Excellent question. If you want the nails more than you want the man, we want the woman more than we want the woman with the nails. Like, period.
I don't even keep my nails long. So like I'm fighting. I'm not even like fighting.
And yo, I'm so glad you say that. That is so interesting. I find that to be so interesting when I'm having conversations with different women and how quickly you guys will like hop on like the soapbox to hold a position that is not even your own. When we're having a conversation with you as an individual, I find that to be
have
so
this
interesting.
Stance.
So
if I was a girl who liked long
but you're
nails,
not though, right? By your own
this is
admission.
like my longest. Hold on, these are like my nails long.
And to me, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't consider that long.
No,
personally.
They're not long.
I'm wondering if Krista, because I don't care about the long nails either. And for me, like if my man didn't like long nails, I'm not going to wear long nails. But I wonder, Krista, if Krista is defending a certain brand of women that are often spoken poorly of. And I definitely hear the critiques that are coming our way. I definitely hear them and I agree with them to some extent. But I think what I'm getting from Krista is you are defending our sisters that are often looked down upon because of their physical appearance and their preferences.
Yeah, and also I genuinely know like women who come from elite family. They're not going to be impressed by meeting the I don't know, the partners where you work, like, and they keep their nails long. So that thinking kind of bothers me. That's why when you said that last part, I was just like, you know, like, I just don't agree with that. So at the
end of the day, every individual gets to make their own choices. Like I said before, and I'm gonna point it out again, count the costs. And that goes for both the man and the woman. As a man, I have to count the cost of what woman may I be passing by because of her long nails, right? I'm not going to deny that fact. I'm objective. I can look at it both ways and say, hey, I may have missed out on a great woman who had her nails styled in a way that I wasn't feeling. And vice versa. I think that if we were looking objectively, a woman on the other side of the table doing the same will have to say, hey, a woman with long nails may miss out on a great guy because she's unwilling to change the nails. So you got to count the cost both ways. If you're willing to live with that cost, then by all means, that's not an issue. I'm not telling women that you can't have long nails. And I think Black Belt is not saying that either. That's not what we're saying. We're not saying you got to change it. We're just saying that we are two men who we don't find that as an attractive, aesthetic on a woman. So for us, it does have something to do with whether we decide to proceed in a relationship with that woman. So I think that that's important to note because as Black Belt mentioned earlier, a lot of men do not share these opinions, share these thoughts that they have, whether it's because of fear or some other reason. But we're here to be open and honest. That's what Right to Real Love, that's what we're doing here, helping y'all to understand how men think so that you can do what? Better interact with them. It's not hate. It's not hate. It's not dissing. We just want to be honest about the fact that there are some men who hold our position. And similar to you, like, and I don't have no issue with it. I just wanted to point it out, like taking the stand of those women with the nails, we're doing the same thing for men who may not have that voice to stand up and say, hey, man, this is how I feel. I feel the same way, right? So that's my take.
I was with you.
Hold on, Krista.
Sorry.
Tatianah made a face. I want to bring it back to her. Did you have something you want to say?
I was saying, this is a good discussion. I was thinking about, I was seeing in the comments from the ladies about, the connotations of stereotypes associated with long nails. And I was just thinking, like, basically we're saying that long nail girls need love too. And, they shouldn't be put to the side. But at the same time, like you said, Jay, everybody has their preferences. So it's not like the gentlemen here on this panel are laying down the law. Like all men don't want women with long nails. That's not what they're saying. But it's just interesting to hear. We just want to make sure y'all not anti-Black by saying that you don't want long nails on your women too. So we just want to confirm a couple things. That's all.
It's about the nails. It has nothing to do with the race of the woman.
I didn't know.
I think it was Dojo's comment. I think it was
those nails were like monopolized for Black women only.
Right. I think it was when you said you can't bring her around certain types of people. I think that was where it kind of took a different turn. Because it's cool if you don't like. Listen, I don't really care if a guy doesn't like nails or not, but that part kind of shocked me. I was like, oh wow, it's like that was like a different level where I'm like. So I don't know.
I'm not saying that you think I will, but I have to stand on that. If you're not good enough for me to date, why would I bring around my place of employment? And it's not so much about bringing her to impress, like, so that she's impressed by them. Again, I'm her male representative. She's my female representative. If I don't think you're a good representative of me in dating, it doesn't make sense for me to bring you to like my professional world where I make my, bread and butter. But I don't know. The way I look at it is like this. Excuse me, Jay, Immanuel, and I, we not trying to convince you. Oh, well, I'm not saying you're doing this, but we ain't trying to like back up dudes who wear pants like below their knees. They're allowed to do that. They're allowed to try whatever they want to get in life, but I'm not here to try to go to bat for them. And I grew up with some of them. Some of them are very solid guys. Some of them are some of the most solid guys I've met. But I'm not here to be like, oh, well, they deserve this or they shouldn't be counted out. If that's not what you want to be associated with, because there is a measured group of men who dress like that, who do fit certain preconceptions, I understand it.
You're a grown man. You can.
Thanks for the confirmation.
And something else that I wanted to point out too is the fact that just because first, let me start here. we know, if we're all being honest and objective, that there are certain stereotypes and certain biases and perceptions that are attached to certain things, right? Can we just agree in life that certain
Yeah.
things have certain connotations, whether it be negative or positive, right? If we agree on that point, the next thing that I want to say is that we know that just because a person may be engaging in behavior or have some type of aesthetic that has a negative connotation, it doesn't make the person bad. It doesn't mean that the person doesn't have good character. However, they are engaging in something or showing a representation of something that has a negative connotation. So you can't ignore it. It goes back to, once again, I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but you got to count the cost. Like if you're engaging in something or choosing to display something aesthetically that gives off a certain connotation, then you got to count the cost of that. That's just like, I'll use this example. I've seen clothing brands and stuff that I like. It'll be a dope hoodie. It'll have a saying on it. And then I'll find out like, oh, like that saying actually means something else. Case in point, there was a hoodie that I saw somebody had on that said cookies. And this is going to show you how green I am, right? I'm like, oh man, I love cookies. Like I should get that hoodie. And then I was looking like the hoodies and I was like, oh, it's related to cannabis. So if I bought the hoodie thinking it's representing cookies that I like to eat that I can go at the grocery store and get, I'll be ignorant to say, oh, I'm gonna just get it and people just should know it's cookies. No, if they know what cookies mean and that means you smoking weed, it would be remiss of me to be like, well, you shouldn't judge me because I have this cookies hoodie on. Like, no, there's a connotation to it. People that know what that means understands that they may extrapolate that onto me. So it's the same thing, is that you just have to be aware of the fact that if something has a negative connotation, be aware that some people may extrapolate or place that bias or that stereotype on you. Is it a direct or an accurate reflection of who you are? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. And that's all the point that I wanted to make.
I get I hear you. I genuinely hear you. I just see it a little. I mean, we don't have to keep harping on it, but I just see it a little different because the same, like how you're saying, you could be with someone with locks or someone who has braids 30, 40 years ago. That was not professional. Like you would ask your woman to get a perm. Like, so it's like the same. It's like some of that kind of comes from like a racist self-hate type of vibe. That's where I'm kind of hearing a little bit because like literally years ago, this hairstyle at work would be like, girl. Like people have told me for interviews, interviews, they have told me like, you really might want to wear your hair in a bun so at least it doesn't fully look puffy. Like people might wonder, or people have told me at least put in a twist out so it kind of falls. Like, so I think it's the same type of mind. That's why I was just really taken aback, honestly, like by that, just because that we've had that done to us a lot. Like, and I feel like in 20 years, I think the long nails may be a part of that look. Like, because that's a more Black look. Like, even though, yeah, all white people do it or anyone other race, that's a Black fashion. Like the long nails, that's been around since forever. So
I think that's an interesting point. And I think I'm really grateful for this conversation because I feel like I'm learning a lot on both sides. Mm-hmm. I think, Krista, what you said, you kind of put it in clarity for me because again, it doesn't seem like any of us on here care about the long nails. It doesn't seem like any of us have that. But I think exactly what you said, 20 years ago, locks were not it. And they were discouraged against, and natural hair. And so I wonder if we're coming from the perspective of seeing Black women, things that have been a part of our culture or things that we just do aesthetically, be looked down upon and told like, this is not cute. You need to change this. I feel like maybe that's the pain point that's being
100%. 100%.
Yes, Black Belt.
For the professional world, I'm just trying to make sure I'm understanding though, is that Black men telling Black women this is unprofessional, you shouldn't be there, or is that white men saying this?
It's white men, but but I don't see it any different. 20, 30 years ago, you're saying you could be with a girl with locks 20, 30, and you would bring her. That same girl, I don't think you being you would have wanted to bring her because it became more acceptable to the world. Like, that's why I'm just I was a little bothered by it. But we can move on for real. So.
Okay. On that note, yo, it's been real tonight. I've enjoyed our show. The chat has been live. I appreciate all of you who have joined us tonight. Want to give a huge shout out to my man Black Belt, as well as Natalie and Krista. Truly appreciate you. Tatianah, thank you for co-hosting tonight with me as well. By all means, you guys, come back next Tuesday. If you thought tonight's show was lit, I promise you, next week is going to be
Yes.
insane.
Yes, it
Because
is.
next week, just to give y'all a little teaser, Tatianah brought it to my awareness. You know, everybody know about February 14th, you know, Valentine's Day, but I hear that the 15th, which is next Tuesday, is Side Chick Day. So we will be discussing the man's perspective on side
Get
chicks
into it.
next Tuesday. So you definitely want to tune in for that discussion. It's gonna be live. We got some lit characters that's gonna be joining us on the show, and y'all don't want to miss it. So with that being said, thank you all again for joining us. We appreciate your support. And we hope that you guys will show support for Natalie, Krista, Black Belt, and Tatianah. Once again, the links to all of their respective information is in the description for you guys to go and show them some love and support. But with that being said, thank you guys again, and we'll catch y'all next week. Until then, y'all, stay blessed.
Bye.